Chapter 2681. Boom, boom, boom. An earth-shattering sound rang out as the void collapsed and countless large cracks spread out. A black hole was formed and swallowed Lin Xian. The violent energy annihilated everything, and many people could not open their eyes. The people below were stunned. Is this the Junior Heavenly King? It's too terrifying. Lin Xian is definitely going to die. Yes, I'm afraid that other than Yi Wudao, no one else can compete with the Junior Heavenly King. As expected of an ancient race, it's really terrifying. Exclamations were heard one after another. The saints and saintesses had ugly expressions because they realized that they had no chance of winning against the Junior Heavenly King. Yi Wudao also looked serious. The Alcade Saint, the Four Symbols Saint, the Grand Development Saint, and the other top geniuses snorted coldly. Obviously, they did not agree that only Yi Wudao could compete with the Junior Heavenly King. However, they did not intend to attack because they did not know if this was the full strength of the Junior Heavenly King. Brother Xian, Brother Lin Xian, Murong Qingcheng, and Shen Jingqiu could no longer sit still. The two of them stood up, their beautiful eyes full of worry. The Crimson Dragon also frowned. Damn it, this guy from the Heavenly Human Tribe is too terrifying. Is he a Heavenly Human Tribe? His eyes flickered as he used the Dragon Tribe's divine ability to see through everything. In the distance, the Taishan Saint in his blue robe looked at the scene with a smile. It was really a golden age. I wonder who will have the last laugh in the end. This guy is strong, Yi Wudao said in a deep voice. The others were even more shocked when they heard this. Even the Saint Physique said so. Could it be that the Junior Heavenly King is really that terrifying? Ha ha! Did you see that? This is the power of the Heavenly Human Tribe. The Junior Heavenly King is mighty and can crush the human race. Arrogant voices rang out one after another. At this moment, the people of the Heavenly Human Race were simply too arrogant. Hearing this, the other saints and saintesses' faces darkened. It's one thing for you to defeat Lin Xian, but you actually said that you could crush the human race. That really pissed them off. That said, Junior Heavenly King was so terrifyingly strong that only Leaf Daodenier, Holy Sun Alcade, and other terrifying chosen would be able to defeat him. If ordinary saints went up, they would not be a match for the other party. Humph! Who dares to fight me? The Junior Heavenly King held the spiritual sword in his hand and looked around disdainfully. He truly looked invincible. Are you so impatient that you want to find someone to fight? Our battle is not over yet. At this moment, a cold voice came from the black hole. What? That guy is still alive. Hearing that voice, the people from the Heavenly Human Clan were the first to scream. The faces of the people from the Battle Tribe, the Yin-Yang sect, and the 5 temporary palaces sank. Impossible! How could he still be alive after being attacked so fiercely? That attack just now could easily kill a saint or saintess. Even if the other party was a top-notch saint, he should have been killed by now. What was going on? For a moment, countless gazes were focused on the black hole. It was Lin Xian's voice. It was Brother Lin Xian's voice. Shen Jingqiu smiled. Murong Qingcheng, who was next to her, also heaved a sigh of relief. That kid is not dead. Humph! So what if he's not dead? He must be half dead. Everyone discussed animatedly. A figure walked out of the black hole in front of them. It was Lin Xian. His black hair fluttered in the wind, and his eyes were abnormally cold. His body was surrounded by countless sword qi, making it impossible to see his real body. However, everyone's hearts were beating violently. That was because they realized that Lin Xian's aura did not weaken. Instead, it became stronger and stronger. Is that all you've got? If that's the case, then you can die in peace. Lin Xian held the ancient sword in his hand and slashed out. The biting cold sword qi turned into a giant dragon and instantly blasted Junior Heavenly King away. Boom, boom, boom. At the same time, his fists began to move. His terrifying fists were like dazzling suns that flew out in the sky. Junior Heavenly King was forced to retreat and vomit blood again. So powerful. Everyone was stunned. They did not expect that Lin Xian would not have been killed otherwise. Moreover, after coming out, he was too powerful. He directly suppressed Junior Heavenly King. Junior Heavenly King roared at the sky with a ferocious expression. He held the spiritual sword in his hand and charged over, wanting to shatter the terrifying fists. Boom, boom, boom. This was the power of the nine-yang divine body and the heaven-battling divine fist. The combination of the two was incomparably terrifying. It was as if thousands of suns were blooming, and the terrifying energy directly ignited Junior Heavenly King's body. This was the power of the purest yang. This kid's fists were too terrifying. Everyone exclaimed. The faces of the war tribe were even more ferocious. No, how could the heaven-battling divine fist have such power? Could it be that it was not the heaven-battling divine fist? They were all stunned, because no matter how powerful the other party was, how could the heaven-battling divine fist be so terrifying? That purest yang energy that could ignite everything was not the heaven-battling divine fist. There was definitely something wrong with this kid's physique. The elites of the war tribe were so angry that they vomited blood. In the sky full of sun flames, Junior Heavenly King screamed crazily. A destructive energy surged out of his body and directly extinguished the flames on his body. Kid, I'm going to kill you. I'm going to make you suffer a fate worse than death. The spiritual wings on his back spread out, and the spiritual sword in his hand was filled with murderous intent. You won't have the chance. Lin Xian snorted coldly and waved his fists. Sword Qi flashed, and the great dragon sword soul and nine-yang divine body erupted at this moment. In the sky, countless heaven and earth avatars appeared, directly suppressing an area. Junior Heavenly King was also one with the world, and he used the power of heaven and earth to contend against it. The scene of the apocalypse appeared, and the intense battle caused the entire sky to completely collapse. At this moment, not only Jade Lake but all the martial artists outside also saw it. Heavens, what happened in Jade Lake? Is someone in a world-ending battle? Isn't it Jade Lake's immortality peach banquet? Why is there a battle? These people were not qualified to enter, so they could only look at the shocking scene and speculate. Dragon roars sounded one after another. Lin Xian used the great dragon sword soul to the extreme, and all kinds of terrifying scenes appeared. Furnace of heaven and earth, destructive divine wind, terrifying lightning tribulation, phoenix, qilin, dragon. The great dragon sword soul could manifest any scene. This was probably more terrifying than the heavenly human tribes won with the world. Therefore, Junior Heavenly King kept retreating and vomiting blood. His battle body was dyed red. There was a rain of blood falling between heaven and earth. Among the blood, a sword light directly slashed Junior Heavenly King's body and split his spiritual shield. Junior Heavenly King was hit by the sword, and one of his arms was chopped off. Blood dyed the sky red. What? Junior Heavenly King was injured? His arm was chopped off by someone. The experts below were all stunned by what they saw. The people of the heavenly human tribe screamed, crazily, impossible. How could he defeat Junior Heavenly King? Chapter 2682. Those from the war tribe and the Yin-Yang sect were even more shocked. Hua Tiandu and the other powerhouses from the Demon Imperial Palace were also horrified. Lin Xian was too terrifying. Could it be that he was going to defy the heavens? At this moment, countless saints and sky prides looked at Lin Xian with solemn expressions. Lin Xian was too powerful. He would probably be a very terrifying opponent on the Emperor's Road in the future. He was too powerful to be able to suppress the little Sky King. He was definitely one of the top sky prides. Perhaps only peerless sky prides like Yi Wudao and the Alcade Sage could fight against him. As they spoke, the situation above changed again. Lin Xian was too powerful. All kinds of sword chi were unleashed. Moreover, his body was so strong that he didn't even need to dodge. Spiritual energy surged in the sky. He stretched out a large golden hand and directly grabbed one of the little Sky King's wings. Then he pulled it hard. With a crack, the little Sky King's wings were torn off, bringing with it a large amount of blood mist. The little Sky King rolled in the sky in pain. Although it was a pair of wings made of spiritual energy, it was still one of his great abilities. It had long been connected to his bloodline. Now that it was forcefully broken, how could he not be in pain? Blood and feathers mixed with spiritual energy scattered in the sky. Everyone was dumbfounded. The Crimson Dragon screamed excitedly, "Cool, this is too cool. Kid, pull off my other wing. You're obviously a human, so why are you pretending to be a beast?" Hearing this, the heavenly human cultivators were so angry that they vomited blood. Lin Xian dared to call them a beast? They couldn't wait to kill him. That was the heavenly human tribe's divine wings, which represented their noble status. Damn snake. What nonsense are you talking about? Do you believe that I won't skin you alive? I just happen to lack a belt. Humph, Birdman, what are you so arrogant for? If you have the ability, come and fight me for 300 rounds. See if Ben Huang doesn't tear off all your beast wings. I'll stew them and eat them. The Crimson Dragon sneered. He was not afraid of the other party at all. Damn it, damn snake, I'll fight it out with you. The members of the celestial race screamed crazily. However, at this time, the celestial race expert snorted coldly. Don't mess around. Just watch the battle. Hearing this, the people of the heavenly human tribe trembled. They raised their heads to look at the sky, and their faces instantly darkened. Humiliation. What a huge humiliation. When had the heavenly human tribe ever suffered such oppression? The junior heavenly king, in particular, was about to explode from anger. He was in existence known as a young heavenly king. What did this mean? It meant that he had reached the peak. Invincible. But now it was being beaten back repeatedly by a human brat. Even its pair of spiritual wings had been torn apart by the other party. Look at my Milky Way domain. In an instant, a domain rushed out of Little Sky King's body and enveloped Lin Xian. Brat, I will torture you for 1,000 years. I'll make you suffer a fate worse than death every day and every minute. After the Milky Way field enveloped his opponent, Little Sky King was like a demon emitting a monstrous, murderous aura. Bang! However, in the next moment, he was kicked in the stomach and flew out like a shooting star again. Many of the bones in his body were broken. Crack! Crack! He flew out for a long time before he stopped. Then the bones in his body crackled and recovered. However, his face was terrifyingly dark. Damn it, impossible. How could you move? His Milky Way field, with the Milky Way flowing inside, could instantly seal the other party. Next, he could torture the other party to his heart's content. However, the other party was enveloped by the Milky Way field and could still counterattack and even injure him. This was beyond his expectations. What Milky Way field? You want to seal me? You're too naive. Lin Xian snorted coldly. The dragon sword field surrounded his body and directly blocked the Milky Way field. Streaks of dragon-shaped sword chi surged and blocked the Milky Way that filled the sky. Therefore, Lin Xian took this opportunity to kick Little Sky King away. Get lost. You've already lost. Lin Xian held the ancient sword in his hand, looked at the other party, and sneered. Brat, you're courting death. The battle is not over yet. I haven't lost yet. I still have a trump card that I haven't used yet. When I use my true trump card, you're dead for sure. Little Sky King screamed crazily. He couldn't bear the contempt in his opponent's eyes at all. Stubborn. Since you don't know what's good for you, I'll fulfill your wish. Lin Xian waved his long sword, and countless sword chi interweaved in the sky, forming a divine steel that suppressed down. The divine steel was too terrifying. It emitted a desolate aura, and many people below were directly pressed to the ground. Heavens, what is this thing? What exactly did he create? Even the saints and saintesses were screaming. Yi Wudao, the Alcade saint, and the others were also shocked. Bright light enveloped their bodies, and energy surged to resist. Lin Xian naturally used the great dragon sword spirit to simulate the divine steel. He had seen this divine steel at Black Demon Cliff. At that time, it had accompanied the 9 Sun Sword Saints' afterimage. Although Lin Xian had only seen it at that time, he could still simulate it. The aura of the great dragon sword spirit was too terrifying, and the simulation was extremely realistic. Lin Xian guessed that this divine steel could seal everything. Sure enough, as soon as it appeared, many people couldn't move. Little Sky King's face was filled with horror. He wanted to dodge, but he found that he was fixed in midair. Bang! He was directly suppressed by the divine steel and fell heavily to the ground. Lost, Little Sky King was actually defeated. Everyone was shocked and couldn't believe it. Not only was he defeated, but he was also injured and was even about to be completely suppressed and sealed. The people of the war tribe were stunned. They had never thought of this scene. They thought that they could easily kill their opponent by inviting Little Sky King, who would have thought that their opponent was too strong. Even Little Sky King of the heavenly human tribe was no match for him. Little Sky King roared, and countless blood-red runes appeared on his body. The power of his bloodline was instantly activated. A tyrannical force surged out, and a crystal-clear bead flew out of his mouth, directly blocking the divine steel. Taking advantage of this opportunity, his figure flashed and quickly left the place. He appeared in the distance. At this moment, he was in an extremely sorry state. His armor was covered in blood, and his face was pale. He was no longer as arrogant as before. Huff! Huff! He panted heavily, his gaze as sharp as a heavenly blade as he stared fixedly at Lin Xian. Kid, you can actually injure me to this extent. You can die now. As he said that, he formed a seal with his palms. The sky was suddenly torn apart, and a huge crack was like an abyss beast that was about to swallow Lin Xian. Seeing this scene, everyone exclaimed in shock. The people of the Gu family even screamed. Gu Santong's pupils constricted. It was the power of space, very similar to the Gu family's Great Void technique. After being swallowed, he would be banished to the universe, and it would be difficult for him to come back. Chapter 2683. They didn't expect the Celestial Tribe to be able to use the power of space. The Celestial Tribe was one with the heavens and could use all kinds of power between heaven and earth. The power of space should be a kind of power of heaven and earth. Yi Wudao's expression was also solemn. The Celestial Tribe was too powerful. If they hadn't met such a terrifying enemy like Lin Xian, they would have been killed. If it were any other saint, they would have been killed long ago. When everyone heard this, they sucked in a breath of cold air. This also showed that Lin Xianxian was really too powerful. He had once beaten up the Little Sky King. How could such a person be released into the universe? They didn't know. Lin Xian looked at the space cracks above his head and sneered. His body turned into yin and yang energy and kept dodging at an extremely fast speed. Kid, you can't escape. The entire world is for me to use. The Little Sky King's expression was ferocious. This was one of his great divine abilities. He usually didn't want to use it. It was one of his trump cards, but now he couldn't care less. Sure enough, wherever Lin Xian appeared, the space cracked and wanted to devour him. In an instant, thousands of space cracks appeared in the sky. They were so dense that it made one's scalp tingle. You want to devour me? Do you have the right to do that? Lin Xian snorted. He stopped dodging, and his body bloomed with endless light. The nine-yang divine body erupted, and the terrifying energy of the golden god of war swept in all directions. Those space cracks collided and shattered on Lin Xian's body. They couldn't devour him at all. He was too powerful. Everyone spat. They didn't expect that even the great god of the celestial tribe couldn't do anything to Lin Xian. Damn it! Seeing this scene, the little Sky King's face was gloomy. He was about to vomit blood. He didn't expect the other party's physique to be so strong. What kind of physique was that? He was about to go crazy. In the next moment, his pupils shrank because all the black holes in the sky were forcefully destroyed by Lin Xian's sword light. Everything around him turned into chaos and no longer existed. What a terrifying sword intent! What a terrifying physique! Everyone was shocked. Lin Xian gripped his killing sword and strode forward. Since you want to die, I'll fulfill your wish. Lin Xian was very fast. He arrived in front of Little Sky King in 2 steps and raised the ancient dragon abyss sword in his hand high up. It was about to land mercilessly. The Little Sky King smiled coldly. Die. You don't know what's good for you. Heavenly King roar. Buzz, he opened his mouth, and a sound wave rolled out in all directions. Ah! The surrounding martial artists screamed again and again as blood flowed from their ears. They fell to the ground, foaming at the mouth and twitching nonstop. Those elite sky prides hurriedly sealed off their sense of hearing, their faces filled with fear. They took out their treasures one after another and released their auras to protect themselves. Soul attack. Damn it, this guy actually has such a trick up his sleeve. These people were all crazy. Humph. So what if that brat's body is tough? He can't block this kind of sonic soul attack. The members of the heavenly human tribe laughed loudly. However, the others had strange expressions on their faces. Those from the Yin-Yang sect, 5 Elements Palace, and 9 Heavens Holy Ground were all terrified. Those from the War tribe also narrowed their eyes. Oh no! What's going on? What happened? Shouldn't you all be cheering? Those from the heavenly human tribe were stunned. If they destroyed the other party's soul, the other party would be dead for sure. But why were their allies so shocked? He dares to compete with soul power? He really doesn't know what's good for him. The Crimson Dragon looked at this scene and sneered. As expected, Lin Xian's lips curled into a disdainful smile. There was even a strange expression on his face. A golden light appeared in Lin Xian's eyes. Then a pair of golden eyes appeared in the sky and looked down at the people below, as if they were the eyes of a god. A golden vortex appeared in his right eye and absorbed all the sound wave attacks. A ball of soul fire floated out of his left eye and flew forward. Buzz-ah! The Little Sky King screamed and kept rolling on the ground. That painful scream made one's scalp go numb. What's going on? What happened? Those from the heavenly human tribe were stunned when they saw this scene. Damn it, this guy knows how to use soul attack too. Moreover, he's a soul power expert. What exactly were those eyes? They screamed crazily. Now they finally understood why the people around them had such strange expressions. It turned out that the other party was an extremely terrifying soul power expert. Damn it, they were too careless. This was the first time they saw Lin Xian. Naturally, they didn't know how terrifying his soul was. Those from the Yin-Yang sect and the 5 Elements Palace had seen his soul power before. It was impossible to guard against it. Before fighting with him, they had to prepare a soul defense to prevent him from sneaking up on them. It could be said that they had never seen anyone who could defeat Lin Xian in terms of soul power. Therefore, they felt very strange when the Little Sky King used his soul attack. Previously, they were still looking forward to it. They thought that the Little Sky King's soul attack was unique and might be able to kill his opponent. But now, It seemed that they were thinking too much. The little Sky King just didn't know that his opponent was a soul power expert. Not good. A soul attack. The little Sky King is in danger. Those from the heavenly human tribe were terrified. They wanted to go forward and help him. The little Sky King roared at the sky. A soul sword formed between his brows and instantly extinguished the soul fire. The next moment, he quickly swallowed a pill. His face was frighteningly pale. Damn kid, how dare you hurt my soul? The little Sky King was about to go crazy. His opponent's swordsmanship was superb, and his physique was strong. Originally, he thought that his opponent's soul was his weakness, so he wanted to use a soul attack. He didn't expect that his opponent's soul would be so terrifying. Was his opponent an all-rounder? How could he not have any weakness? That was impossible. A person's energy was limited. How could his opponent be so all-rounder? He really couldn't understand. Fortunately, he also had a trump card. He used the soul sword to save his life. Otherwise, that soul fire would have killed him. Thinking of that, he felt a lingering fear. On the other side, Lin Xian was also surprised. You can block my soul fire? He was also very surprised. Once the soul fire was released, it was extremely terrifying. Basically, no one could dodge it. He didn't expect his opponent to have the means to extinguish it, as expected of the little Sky King of the heavenly human tribe. Damn kid, I'll kill you. I must kill you. After the little Sky King swallowed the pill, he roared at the sky. He was covered in blood. His white hair was also dyed red, and his handsome face was incomparably ferocious. He was a genius of the heavenly human tribe. The heavenly human tribe was incomparably terrifying. It was one of the powerful tribes that had been passed down since ancient times. And he was the little Sky King of the heavenly human tribe. His status was extremely noble. When had he not been surrounded by people who treated him with utmost respect, no one had ever dared to resist him and seriously injured him. Therefore, he couldn't stand it. He had to kill the kid in front of him to vent the hatred in his heart. Chapter 2684. Do you have what it takes to kill me? Lin Xian's aura became more and more terrifying. His murderous intent was like a vast ocean surging through the void. Kid, I admit that you're strong. You're the strongest opponent I've ever met. However, do you really think you can defeat me? I still have my most powerful trump card that I haven't used yet. Now, take a good look at me. You can be proud that you're going to die under my divine power. The junior heavenly king floated in the void. Streaks of blood-red runes appeared on his body and shrouded him. A terrifying aura emanated from the junior heavenly king. Meanwhile, the junior heavenly king became solemn. His body flickered more and more as if he had turned into a merciless heavenly river. Beside him, countless blood-colored runes formed 36 blood-colored vortexes. There seemed to be a figure sitting cross-legged in each of the vortexes, as if they were gods. They exuded an ancient and mysterious aura. Those were the 36 heavenly stars. Finally, there were older generation figures who screamed, their faces full of fear. 36 heavenly stars? What's that? The other young martial artists were puzzled. It was one of the most powerful divine powers of the heavenly human tribe. Legend had it that the 36 heavenly stars were summoned by the heavenly human tribe, using their bloodline power to communicate with the heavens and earth. Some even said that they were immortal spirits. However, no matter what, the 36 heavenly stars were too terrifying. They were definitely one of the most powerful divine powers. What? There's such a divine power? Everyone was shocked. The junior heavenly human tribe used their own power to communicate with the heavens and earth to summon 36 gods to help him fight. That was too heaven-defying. The heavenly human tribe had such a terrifying divine power. Everyone was stunned. Previously, They thought that the junior heavenly king couldn't win no matter how powerful he was. However, they didn't expect the junior heavenly king to have such a terrifying trump card. Who would be afraid of him when he used his trump card? Even Yi Wudao wouldn't be able to resist it. Sure enough, the Alcade Saint Yi Wudao, Yan Ruyu, the great Xia prince, and the others looked extremely serious. Lin Xian also frowned. He felt a chill down his spine from the 36 blood-red shadows. Even though he had the 9 yang divine body, the blood in his body trembled violently. What a terrifying ability! Could 36 heaven spirits summon divine spirits and immortal phantoms? The celestial race was truly terrifying. He actually possessed such a terrifying divine ability. Lin Xian's expression was extremely solemn. On the other side, the little Sky King threw his head back and laughed. Once again, he revealed a cruel smile. "Kid, did you see that? This is my trump card. Do you think you can contend against me? No one in the world could save him. Even if you kneel down and beg me now, I won't let you go." At this point, the little heavenly king laughed out loud. Beside him, the 36 dipper stars shone even brighter. An extremely terrifying power surged out, causing everyone to continuously retreat. Those who were weaker directly fainted from this power. Boom. In the next moment, Junior Heavenly King made his move. A palm shot out, covering the sky and covering the earth. 36 blood-colored silhouettes vibrated, emitting a mysterious rhythm. Waves of terrifying energy were added to the palm. With a single palm strike, the heavens collapsed and the earth cracked. Lin Xian quickly dodged, but in the end, he was still hit by the palm wind. Puff! He was sent flying, spitting out a mouthful of blood that dyed the void red. "He's injured. That kid is injured." Seeing this scene, everyone was shocked. The 36 dipper stars were indeed terrifying. Lin Xian was injured by a single palm strike. One had to know that Lin Xian's physique was so terrifying that the little Sky King couldn't hurt him at all. But now Lin Xian was injured by a single palm strike. This meant that the 36 dipper stars were really terrifying. This palm strike should be able to injure a sacred physique. Sure enough, Yi Wudao's face was also gloomy. Obviously, he was also threatened. In the sky, the little Sky King laughed out loud. "Kid, do you see that? This is my true strength. In front of me, you have no chance to resist at all." As he spoke, he waved his palm again, the blood-colored palm, and the power of the 36 dipper stars continued to surge out. Lin Xian stepped back step by step, spitting out a mouthful of blood. Blood dyed his body red, and his face became ferocious. "Kill!" With a roar, Lin Xian's body shone with a mysterious light. Countless runes and Taoist inscriptions appeared on his body. At this moment, he used the 9 yang divine body without holding back. He seemed to have turned into an ancient god of war. His body alone was enough to crush heaven and earth. Not only that, Lin Xian held a dragon-shaped sword in his hand, and the sword qi on his body was even more monstrous. His aura was enough to destroy the 9 heavens and 10 lands. 36 dipper stars? I admit that you're strong, but so what? It's impossible for you to kill me. You're courting death. Do you think you can still resist me? Now, go to hell for me." The little Sky King sneered. He formed a seal with his palms and quickly attacked. Boom! Tyrant fist of the firmament. The little Sky King threw out 5 punches in a row. 5 blood-colored fists with the power of the 36 dipper stars enveloped heaven and earth. "Go to hell, brat." The little Sky King was full of confidence. Below him, the people of the heavenly human tribe also laughed proudly. The people of the war tribe and the Yin-Yang sect revealed ferocious expressions. They knew that no one below the invincible king realm could resist such power, unless a true invincible king realm expert descended. "Brother Lin Xian, Brother Xian," Morong Qingcheng and Xinjingqiu were extremely nervous. Even the Crimson Dragon frowned. Kid, use your full strength. As expected, in the face of the 5 terrifying blood-colored fists, Lin Xian's body tensed up and the 9 Yang divine body shone brightly. He held the dragon-shaped sword with both hands. Dragon Soul Slash. With a roar, the dragon-shaped sword slashed out. Heaven and earth shattered as a sword chi streaked across the void. Wherever it passed, the entire sky was cut in half. Nothing could resist it. Everyone screamed because the sword was too terrifying. Although it was not slashed at them, the aura alone was enough to split their bodies. Many people vomited blood. They could not withstand it at all. Run! These young martial artists fled into the distance as if they had gone mad. In the distance, in the palaces, the elders and powerhouses of the various sacred grounds also moved out one after another. They came to the sky and looked ahead in horror. What was going on? What happened? It was still the same 2 people fighting. What kind of sword chi was that? What was that blood-colored vortex? These people were crazy. They knew that Lin Xian and the other prodigies were fighting, but they did not expect it to be so terrifying. It was far beyond the strength of the older generation. Even the invincible king's eyelids twitched wildly. These people had reached such combat strength at such a young age. If they became invincible kings, how terrifying would they be? They did not dare to imagine. Chapter 2685. He was indeed a genius with the potential of a great emperor. The heavenly human tribe was the heavenly human tribe's little sky king. What kind of superpower was that? It was one of the strongest superpowers of the heavenly human tribe, the 36 celestial stars. This little sky king was too powerful. He was able to use such a powerful superpower at such a young age. That young man was the master of the immortal palace. Heavens, he was able to fight against the 36 celestial stars. What kind of sword skill did he use? The elders and experts of the sacred grounds exclaimed. At this moment, the people of the heavenly human tribe frowned. They did not expect their little sky king to be unable to defeat his opponent even after using such a superpower. On the immortal palace's side, the eyes of the great guardian and the others flickered. They knew about the 36 celestial stars of the heavenly human tribe. To be honest, they were worried about Lin Xian. However, when they saw Lin Xian's shocking sword chi, they heaved a sigh of relief. They knew that Lin Xian would not be defeated. In the sky, the 2 terrifying forces collided and exploded, covering heaven and earth. Everyone retreated. The elders of the Jade Lake, Holy Land, acted even more crazily, opening a large number of formations to direct their energy to the sky. The collision lasted for a very long time before it gradually weakened. Everyone retreated to a safe distance and looked at the sky in shock. Are they really 2 young sky prides? Why do I feel like 2 invincible kings are fighting? That's right. It's too scary. Are they really the same age as us? I wonder what the result is. Wu Hua said. Beside him, Gu Santong also sighed. No, the light was too strong. There was no way to detect it. Is it coming out? In front of them, the endless energy storm suddenly spun rapidly, and the light dimmed quickly. Seeing this, everyone's eyes widened. They craned their necks and looked forward. The light gradually dimmed. Finally, they could see the scene in front of them. Then, everyone's jaws dropped. They were dumbfounded. They saw that little Sky King's body had been split into 2 halves. His body hadn't been torn apart, but the terrifying cracks allowed them to see his internal organs. Lin Xian's body was also riddled with injuries. There were several palm prints on his body, and there were also several cracks on his body. However, the light on his body was still incomparably resplendent, and his aura was very sharp. It seemed like his injuries weren't as serious as the Junior Sky King's. Little Sky King's body was drenched in blood. The 36 Big Dippers around him were gone. At this moment, he was extremely weak. Impossible. I can't lose. You actually managed to break through my 36 celestial spirits. The Little Sky King screamed like a madman. He wanted to heal his broken body, but the countless sharp sword chi within the wound prevented him from doing so. This was the aura of the great dragon sword soul. It was not so easy to erase it, not to mention that Little Sky King was seriously injured. Lin Xian's 9-yang divine body blossomed with radiance as the secret art of longevity circulated rapidly to heal his injuries. He gripped the ancient dragon abyss sword once again and walked forward. Heavenly human race? Little heavenly king? You want to kill me? Today, I will send you to hell first. Lin Xian walked forward step by step, each step leaving behind a trail of blood. He was basically walking on the void and blood. Seeing the scene, the people of the heavenly human race screamed like crazy. No, damn brat. How dare you attack the Junior Sky King? They were really crazy. If the Junior Sky King died here, the entire heavenly human race would probably riot. The others were even more shocked. What was this guy trying to do? Could it be that he really wanted to kill the Junior Sky King? The Junior Sky King also screamed in horror. How dare you kill me? If you kill me, the heavenly human race will not let you off. Humph! Lin Xian snorted coldly. Don't worry, I won't kill you. However, I will suppress you and bring you back to teach you a lesson. What? He wants to suppress the Junior Sky King and teach him a lesson? Hearing this, everyone's eyelids twitched wildly. This was even more terrifying than death. If he really did that, the Junior Sky King would probably not be able to raise his head in the younger generation. Damn it, how dare you? A few of the heavenly human race's geniuses rushed forward and wanted to attack, but they were soon sent flying. Lin Xian waved his long sword and sent them flying. These powerhouses of the heavenly human race vomited large mouthfuls of blood. The others were all shocked. Damn it, how could he still be so powerful? Lin Xian's eyes shone with a piercing cold light. In the sky, along with his sword Qi, another heavenly steel was formed, trying to suppress the Junior Sky King. No, the Junior Sky King roared powerlessly, but his broken body was bleeding even more because of the intense movement. He couldn't escape at all. Seeing that the Junior Sky King was about to be suppressed, the others were also shocked. However, at this moment, a cold voice sounded in the sky. Enough, that's enough. There was a ruthless power in the voice. Then, a large hand blocked the heavenly steel in the sky. An old man appeared beside the Junior Sky King. With a wave of his hand, countless rays of light restored the Junior Sky King's broken body. The sharp sword Qi was also destroyed by the other party. An invincible king. It was the invincible king of the heavenly human race. Seeing this scene, everyone exclaimed. They didn't expect that the invincible king of the heavenly human race would make a move. Everyone was shocked. In the sky, the invincible king of the heavenly human race looked gloomy. After saving the Junior Sky King, he looked at Lin Xian again. All right, you can stop now. You've won this battle. Hearing this, Lin Xian smiled and put away the ancient dragon abyss sword. Thanks for letting me win. He nodded slightly, turned around, and went to the platform below. Then he took out a few pills and swallowed them. Brother Lin Xian and Shen Jingqiu quickly ran over. Murong Qingcheng also hurriedly took out some pills. Brother Xian, hurry up and eat this Jade Lake holy water. The eyes of the saints and saintesses lit up when they saw this. This was the sacred medicine of the Jade Lake sacred ground. They didn't expect the saintess of the Jade Lake to take it out without hesitation. Lin Xian took it and swallowed it. Sure enough, he felt an incomparably pure energy repairing his body. Soon, the cracks and internal injuries on his body were healed in an instant. How magical! As expected of the sacred medicine of the Jade Lake sacred ground. Lin Xian was shocked. Damn brat, just you wait. This battle isn't over. One day I'll get my revenge. In the sky, the Junior Sky King's body was also healed. His face was pale as he gritted his teeth. I'll accompany you any time. However, if this is all you've got, I advise you not to fight again, because you're no match for me at all. Hearing this, the Junior Sky King was so angry that he vomited blood. The martial artists of the heavenly human race were also gnashing their teeth. Arrogant, he's too arrogant. However, they couldn't fight back at all, because the truth was that their Junior Sky King was defeated by the other party. The other party had the right to be arrogant. Chapter 2686. Temple Master Lin, you're really strong. The invincible powerhouse from the heavenly human tribe also had a gloomy expression. That's right. This is a public slap to the heavenly human tribe's face. Moreover, the slap was so loud that they couldn't fight back at all. However, he wouldn't let it go so easily. It's just SOSO. Lin Xian shrugged. Is that so? With Temple Master Lin's talent and divine abilities, I'm afraid you'll become the number one person in the younger generation in the future. Perhaps when the time comes, even the holy physique won't be your match. Hearing this, everyone was in an uproar. Is that right? The invincible king of the heavenly human tribe actually gave Lin Xian such a high evaluation? Everyone was shocked. Crimson Dragon and the others gritted their teeth. Damn it, this guy is trying to sow discord. Sure enough, Morong Qing Chung and the others also looked at Yi Wudao. Yi Wudao shook his head. Don't worry, these words can't sow discord between me and Brother Lin. Lin Xian also frowned. The people of the heavenly human tribe are really shameless. The other party has cultivated to the invincible king realm. How dare they use such provocative words to deal with me? He replied in a deep voice. You flatter me. I always believe that there is always someone better than me. I don't dare to be number one in the world. Is that so? A cold light appeared in the eyes of the heavenly human tribe powerhouse. Temple Master Lin is really modest. You should be cultivating the divine nine-yang body, right? You even have such a long-lost ancient body tempering technique. Your future achievements won't be any weaker than the holy physique. What, the divine nine-yang body? Could it be that it's the legendary body tempering technique? Heavens, this kid actually cultivates the divine nine-yang body. I say, why does he have the light of the sun? That's the most masculine body. After cultivating it, it won't be any worse than the holy physique. The news caused an uproar among the geniuses in the area. For a moment, everyone stared at Lin Xian with burning eyes. Lin Xian's pupils shrank, and his face instantly darkened. Damn it, I didn't expect the other party to recognize my body tempering technique. Lin Xian. This really surprised him. The Crimson Dragon was also gnashing its teeth. Damn it, this old bastard was courting death. It really wanted to kill him. He was infuriated because he knew that by saying that, Lin Xian would undoubtedly be pushed into the limelight. The nine-yang divine body was too terrifying and too tempting. His body refinement technique was passed down from the ancient times. It was extremely masculine and yang, and after it was refined, its power would be unparalleled. More importantly, he did not need the power of the bloodline. In other words, whoever obtained it would be able to cultivate it. Of course, he now knew that this was not something that anyone could cultivate. The pain he had to endure was definitely unbearable for ordinary people. Even if others obtained it, they might not be able to master it. However, no one else knew about it. And even if Lin Xian and the Crimson Dragon said it, these people wouldn't believe it. Therefore, for a moment, Lin Xian was undoubtedly pushed to the forefront of the storm. Hall Master Lin, is what he said true? Did you really cultivate the nine-yang divine body? Finally, someone couldn't help but ask. As soon as these words came out, the others were ignited. Doubtful voices sounded one after another. Was it really the nine-yang divine body? Was it the legendary divine body compared to the sacred body, which was stronger and which was weaker? Everyone's eyes were burning with passion, but Lin Xian's gaze was cold as he looked around. Humph, this is my privacy. It's not convenient for me to reveal it to you. His voice was extremely cold. Hall Master Lin, there's no point in saying it like that. The nine-yang divine body has been lost for a long time. Now that it has reappeared in the world, it's really a blessing for the world. If such an ancient body refinement technique was lost, it would be a huge loss. So, Lin Xian, it's better for you to tell us. An expert of the war tribe spoke. Of course, they had to seize such a good opportunity. Firstly, they had to figure out whether it was the nine-yang divine body or not. Secondly, if they could obtain such a thing. Thinking of this, their eyes burned. Damn it. It was the people of the war tribe again. The Crimson Dragon gritted his teeth. Lin Xian also looked at the other party. Very well, war tribe, I'll remember you. In the next moment, he said loudly, That's right, it was the nine-yang divine body. What? It really was the nine-yang divine body. Heavens, the lost divine body had reappeared in the world. No wonder his physique was so strong. It turned out that it was the nine-yang divine body. Legend had it that if one cultivated it to greater mastery, the nine-yang divine body would not be weaker than a sacred body. It's over. It's another invincible existence in the future. Screams and exclamations sounded. Obviously, the news had shocked them and made them go crazy. The people of the war tribe were also shocked. To be honest, they didn't expect that the other party really had the nine-yang divine body. Not only them, but the Yin-yang sect, the Tai dynasty, the Dian Holy Land, and the other sects were also shocked. Even the Yi family was in an uproar. So it was that kind of physique. No wonder she was so strong. His physique was not Wu Dao's. The elders of the Yi family were also discussing spiritedly. Yi Wu Dao's eyes were also flickering. As expected of Brother Lin, he actually mastered such an ancient body tempering technique. Wow, Brother Lin Xian is so powerful. Shen Jingqiu's face was full of worship, but Murong Qingcheng was a little worried. She felt that the exposure of the divine body was not a good thing. It would make countless people target Lin Xian. After all, not everyone had a powerful bloodline like the Saint Body. There were many powerhouses without a bloodline. However, the nine-yang divine body could make up for their losses. As long as they obtained the nine-yang divine body, they would have a chance to obtain a powerful physique like the Saint Body. This was an endless temptation for everyone. Therefore, she felt that Lin Xian was really in danger. Lin Xian also knew that. However, he had been seen through by the other party. It was impossible to deny it. Moreover, he was the master of Immortal Palace. If anyone wanted to touch him, Immortal Palace would not let them go. There was another reason. He had promised the nine-yang sword saint that he would let the nine-yang divine body reappear in the world. Perhaps this was an opportunity. Everyone's hearts were burning, especially those powerhouses. They all wanted to have it. However, they did not dare to casually make a move, because if they made a move here, they would be courting death. Therefore, everyone only stared at Lin Xian with burning eyes. Lin Xian coldly snorted in the face of these fiery gazes. He was not afraid at all. In the distance, figures landed one after another. The chief protector and the others had rushed over. When they heard the news, they were extremely shocked. They did not expect Lin Xian to have the nine-yang divine body. However, at the same time, they were even more worried. They were afraid that he would be targeted by many people. Temple Master Lin, it's about time. Please. Not only did the chief protector and the others come, but the Queen Mother of the West, the Yi family head, the Gu family head, and other sacred masters also came. They all invited Lin Xian to enter the main hall. Seeing this scene, everyone was shocked. The eyes of the celestial race, war race, and other powerhouses and elders also became serious. The fire in their bodies was instantly extinguished. Chapter 2687. It seemed that even if they wanted to make a move, they would have to wait until after the Jade Lake Grand Meet. At least, no one would dare to make a move here. Otherwise, the Jade Lake would be the first to come after them. Lin Xian nodded. Everyone, please. He followed the Empress of the West Patriarchy and the others as they flew forward. This scene made countless people look up to them with envy, especially the young geniuses, who were even more envious. This kind of treatment was too shocking. To be able to sit on the same level as the sacred leader, no one in the younger generation except for Lin Xian could do that. Even peerless geniuses like Yi Wudao and the Alcade Sage could not do that. After entering the main hall, Lin Xian sat down. Then, the Empress of the West smiled. Everyone, try the immortality peaches first. Then, she asked the servants to prepare. Soon, the Jade Lake Grand Meet began. Beautiful women in colorful clothes entered the main hall like fish, holding immortality peaches in their hands. They were holding real immortality peaches for Lin Xian, the Empress of the West, and the others. They were the immortality peaches that only bloomed once every 3,000 years. The saints, saintesses, and geniuses outside stopped talking about martial arts and sat down one after another. They were eating immortality peaches that only bloomed once every 1,000 years. In addition to them, the elders of the various sacred grounds also ate immortality peaches. The rest of the people ate immortality peaches. Among them, the geniuses who were about to have children ate immortality peaches that only bloomed once every 300 years. The others ate immortality peaches that only bloomed once every 100 years. But even then, it was still very enviable. Even though it was young, it was watered with the holy water of the Jade Lake. Its effect and spirituality were far better than the ones outside. They really envied Brother Lin for being able to eat immortality peaches that only bloomed once every 3,000 years. Wu Hua, Gu Santong, and the others were envious. Shen Jingqiu also pouted. I wonder if it's delicious. Sister Morong, can't you use your privilege to make one for me? She looked at Morong Qingcheng. Morong Qingcheng smiled. All right, let's eat this first. I'll see if I have a chance after the grand meet. She blinked as she transmitted her voice. Hearing that, Shen Jingqiu was very happy. In the distance, the people from the Battle Clan, the Heavenly Human Clan, and the Yin-Yang sect were gnashing their teeth. Damn it. That brat was actually able to enter the main palace. This was too abominable. Don't worry, this kid will definitely be unlucky. If his 9 Yang divine body was exposed, he would definitely become the target of everyone in the world. Just wait and see. Perhaps some old monsters in seclusion will make their move. Those people sneered. They knew that after the Feast of Peaches, there would definitely be people who would attack. The outside was lively, but the inside was even more exciting. Only now did Lin Xian realize how great these sacred masters and sect masters were feeling. He felt that there was a world of difference between what he was eating and what the saints and saintesses were eating outside. The wine and tea were all brewed with the holy water of the Jade Lake. Every dish he ate was extremely precious, and the ingredients seemed to be almost extinct in the outside world. Even the chopsticks he used were made from heaven-step materials. In short, it could be said to be extremely luxurious. As expected of the Jade Lake sacred ground, it had a rich heritage. Lin Xian looked around and found that the other sacred masters and sect masters were all looking at him. It seemed that it was better to be a sacred master. Not long after eating, the sacred master of the Taishan sacred ground said, Hall Master Lin, why don't we talk about the nest of 10,000 dragons? Hearing this, the other sacred masters and sect masters also put down their chopsticks and stared at Lin Xian. Lin Xian was also under a lot of pressure when he was stared at by so many sacred masters and sect masters. Fortunately, he had the great dragon sword soul in his body, which instantly resolved this pressure. Otherwise, if it were any other saint, they would probably collapse. The other sacred masters were also very surprised when they saw this scene. A mighty figure could actually withstand the gazes and pressure of so many sacred masters and sect masters. He was indeed capable of sitting on the position of hall master. Well, since everyone is so interested, I'll explain it briefly. Lin Xian swirled his wine glass and slowly talked about the nest of 10,000 dragons. In fact, what Lin Xian said was very simple. The most important thing these people wanted to know was where the nest of 10,000 dragons was. However, just knowing where it was not enough. They held the Jade Lake Grand meeting this time to unite the sacred lands and sects in the world and attack together. Therefore, not only did Lin Xian speak, but the Queen Mother of the West, Yi Family Master, and the others also spoke up. They discussed with the sacred masters and sect masters of the world. Among them, the main thing to discuss was how many people were needed to break the seal. After entering, should they join forces? If they joined forces, how should the treasures be distributed? Of course, now Lin Xian, the Queen Mother of the West, Yi Family, and the others were a small group. They had common interests. So at this time, they naturally wanted to take the biggest share. The other sacred masters and sect masters were naturally unwilling. The other party was only at the level of 7 sacred lands, and the number of sacred lands on their side exceeded this number. If the other party took the biggest share, their gains would not make up for the losses. Therefore, the two sides had an intense discussion. In the end, it was decided. Although it was not as outrageous as at first, Lin Xian was still very tempted. Because of the current distribution, Immortal Hall alone could get the same amount of resources as 5 sacred lands combined. This definitely made him very satisfied. Moreover, these were joint forces. Other than that, they could also act alone. Thinking about it, with Immortal Hall's strength and foundation, they could definitely harvest again. One had to know that the Yuhua Immortal Robe was obtained by Immortal Hall, not to mention the even more precious nest of 10,000 dragons this time. When the time came, the old palace master, Xia Juyo, would also take action. That was a saint after all. Lin Xian felt a surge of excitement at the thought of this. It seemed simple, but this discussion lasted for 7 days and 7 nights. In the end, the general direction was decided. Lin Xian and the others heaved a sigh of relief. He, the Queen Mother of the West, Yi Family Master, and the others looked at each other and smiled. Then everyone walked out of the main hall together. Seeing Lin Xian and so many sacred masters come out together, the saints, saintesses, elders, and countless cultivators outside also stood up. They had already eaten the peaches of immortality. At this moment, they were waiting for the results of the meeting. When they saw these people come out, their hearts were in their throats. Queen Mother of the West, please. Everyone looked at the Queen Mother of the West. After all, this was the Jade Pool. So the Queen Mother of the West naturally had to make the announcement. The Queen Mother of the West nodded. She had the divine might of a mother. She said loudly, "The meeting is over. We have decided to work together to open the nest of 10,000 dragons. The time will be half a month later." Was the nest of 10,000 dragons really going to be opened? When the people below heard this, they were all shocked, and their breathing quickened. The eyes of the saints and geniuses also lit up. As long as the nest of 10,000 dragons was opened, they would be able to obtain the natural treasures inside. In that case, their strength would increase rapidly. Thinking of this, their eyes burned with passion. Chapter 2688. Next, please go back and prepare the array masters. The array formation of the nest of 10,000 dragons is not that easy to break. I hope everyone will not hold back. All right. The sacred leaders and sect masters nodded one after another. They prepared to bring their disciples back. On Lin Xian's side, his eyes flickered. He gathered the martial artists of the Immortal Palace together. Hall Master Lin, why don't you use the Tao Gate of the Jade Lake to leave? The Queen Mother said with a smile. She naturally knew about the 9 Yang divine body. Moreover, the relationship between Lin Xian and Murong Qingcheng made her want to help. Thank you, Queen Mother of the West. Hearing this, Lin Xian heaved a sigh of relief. The Great Guardian and the others were also completely relieved. Originally, they were worried that they would be attacked by experts after they left. After all, the 9 Yang divine body was too important. Now that they had the Tao Gate, they could directly open the Immortal Palace. This way, they would be much safer. Qingcheng, I'll go back first. See you later. Looking at Murong Qingcheng and Xinjingqiu, Lin Xian said with a smile. Then he raised his head and looked at Yi Wudao, Wuhua, and the others. Everyone, I'll take my leave first. Brother Lin, see you later. We'll meet again soon. Brother Lin, if there's a chance, we must spar. Yi Wudao said with a smile. Lin Xian waved at them. Then everyone boarded the Tao Gate of the Jade Lake, tore through the void, and disappeared. Seeing this scene in the distance, many experts in the sacred grounds sighed. The people of the heavenly human race and war race gritted their teeth. They were even prepared to leave the Jade Lake and join forces to ambush the other party. Many people even secretly called for the experts of their sacred grounds to prepare a sneak attack. However, they didn't expect that the other party would use the Tao Gate of the Jade Lake sacred ground to teleport away. This way, they would definitely not be able to find the other party. Damn it, they lost their chance. Many people gritted their teeth. However, a powerhouse of the heavenly human race snorted coldly. It didn't matter. The nest of 10,000 dragons was about to open. He would definitely enter. When the battle in the nest of 10,000 dragons began, they would capture him. Good idea. Let him live a little longer. When he was in the nest of 10,000 dragons, he would definitely not let him off. The voice of the war race's expert was similarly cold. Many people had the same idea. Then they followed their sect leaders and left the Jade Lake sacred ground. Things had not calmed down. Instead, they had just begun. After the Immortal Peach Banquet, news spread out. First, it was the news of the nest of 10,000 dragons that shocked the world. Not everyone came to participate in the Jade Lake pageant. There were some hidden clans that didn't show up, and some terrorist organizations like the Assassin Dynasty didn't show up either. However, this did not mean that they were not interested in the nest of 10,000 dragons. When the news spread, these hidden forces, as well as the ordinary warriors, were all excited. Everyone's eyes were fixed on the movements of those holy lands, because they wanted to see where the nest of 10,000 dragons was. But then, another piece of news ignited the entire true spirit world. The 9 Yang divine body had reappeared in the world. Everyone went crazy as if they were injected with chicken blood. That was the long-lost holy physique, and it had actually appeared. Moreover, it was Lin Xian who obtained it. In an instant, countless people moved out. Firstly, they were inquiring about the authenticity of the news because the 9 Yang divine physique had not appeared for tens of thousands of years. Now that it suddenly appeared, it made people suspect that it was fake. It was really Lin Xian. However, when they asked around and found out that it was really the 9 Yang divine physique, they were all shocked. Soon, they joined forces to discuss countermeasures. Because many people wanted the 9 Yang divine physique, among them, the hidden experts came out of seclusion one after another. They wanted to find Lin Xian. However, at this moment, Lin Xian had already returned to the Immortal Palace. Palace Master, you're back. the elders in the immortal palace also heaved a sigh of relief. They also knew about the overwhelming news in the outside world. This made them sweat profusely. They were even prepared to bring their holy weapons to attack. "What's the situation outside?" Lin Xian asked as soon as he returned. The outside world had already gone crazy. When their palace master had the 9 young divine physique, these people would probably go crazy with jealousy. Humph! Lin Xian snorted coldly, his expression not looking too good. Although he had planned to use the 9 young divine physique sooner or later, the current situation had caught him off guard. Indeed, it made him feel unhappy. However, what shocked him even more was that the commotion caused by the 9 young divine physique didn't seem to be any weaker than the nest of 10,000 dragons. Damn it, if these people knew that I had the great dragon sword soul, I wonder how crazy they would be. Lin Xian rolled his eyes. The 9 young divine physique was only one of his trump cards. Other than that, the heavenly secret divine eyes and the great dragon sword soul were all extremely terrifying, especially the great dragon sword soul. It was known as the existence with the highest attack power. If this news were to spread, not to mention these people, even the saints would jump out. It seemed that he had to hurry up and break through. Lin Xian felt the pressure. The great protector and the others also moved. They carried forbidden artifacts and holy weapons by their side. They had to ensure Lin Xian's safety. They prepared to gather the elite array masters. Lin Xian gave the order. It wasn't just them. Jade Lake Sacred Ground, Yi Family, Skyscraper Dynasty, and all the Sacred Ground sects were preparing. The remaining people were all looking for Lin Xian all over the world, wanting to obtain the 9 young divine physique. However, they were destined to not be able to find him. In a spiritual mountain, a blue-robed man sat there. In front of him, the ground split open, and a black head appeared. The 9 young divine physique had appeared. This was what the black head said. "I know." The blue-robed man nodded. It was really surprising. He didn't expect that the 9 young divine physique, which was on par with the same physique, would reappear. "What should I do?" The black head asked. "Should I send someone to kill him? I can contact the people of hell again." "Don't worry, do as I say." Originally, I wanted to give this spot to the number 1 genius of the war race, but I didn't expect this kid to display the 9 young divine physique and defeat the heavenly human race's little sky king. Since that's the case, I'll give the spot to him. But is this really okay? The blackhead was a little puzzled. "Don't worry, this method will definitely work. Ordinary geniuses might only look up and sigh in admiration. However, the top geniuses who had the strength to break through to the great emperor realm would definitely go crazy. Sometimes, a title was more important than one's life. Just wait and see. The 5 people I chose aren't the strongest 5, but they're definitely the best of the best. Moreover, they're the ones with the most potential. Giving them the title of young, great emperor realm would definitely cause the other top geniuses to be jealous, dissatisfied, and hostile. At that time, we won't need to do anything. Those people will come knocking on our door. Yi Wudao, Lin Xian, you'll soon be in endless trouble. Whether you can survive or not will depend on your ability. Chapter 2689. The blue-robed man revealed a cruel smile. Then the blackhead drilled into the ground and disappeared. Half a month passed very quickly. The various holy lands were already prepared. The others were no longer looking for the 9 young divine body. Instead, they quickly paid attention to the nest of 10,000 dragons. They paid attention to every move of these holy lands because the news of the nest of 10,000 dragons was about to be exposed. On this day, Lin Xian sent a voice transmission to the Queen Mother of the West, the Yi family, and the other holy lands. They worked together to open the Tao Gate, Qinling Mountain. It was a very famous spirit vein in the Middle Continent. It was very vast. No one knew how many millions of miles it was. It was impossible to detect the end. Moreover, from the sky, Qinling Mountain looked like a huge dragon lying on the middle continent. This place was incomparably mysterious and had all sorts of legends. It was even said that the entire Qinling Mountain was a dragon vein. However, no one dared to build a kingdom here. Only some families and sects were built nearby. They didn't dare to get too close. Logically speaking, the divine dynasties in the middle continent should occupy such a dragon vein. However, those divine dynasties shouldn't have done so, because back then, there was a very powerful faction that wanted to build a divine kingdom here. However, the next day, it was uprooted and disappeared into thin air. This scene scared all the forces in the middle continent crazy. From then on, no one dared to build a divine kingdom here. At this moment, in the sky above Qinling Mountain, Tao patterns flashed. The void split open, and figures appeared all over the sky. These people had powerful auras, and their bodies shone with boundless light like gods. The first to appear were naturally Lin Xian and the other powerhouses of the Immortal Palace. After that, the 6 great sages of the Jade Pool, the Yi family, and the Gu family arrived. Behind them, the void in the surrounding millions of miles cracked open one after another as powerful figures descended one after another. They were the various holy lands and sects of the true spirit continent. At this moment, the sky within millions of miles was completely distorted. It couldn't withstand the pressure of these people at all. Moreover, they were only bringing formation masters. If the peerless powerhouses of the various holy lands descended, the image would be even more terrifying. Qinling Mountain. It was actually Qinling Mountain. After these people landed, they were extremely shocked. They didn't expect that the nest of 10,000 dragons to be located in Qinling Mountain. There were countless legends about the Qinling Mountains in Zhongzhou. Legend had it that this was a living forbidden zone. In other words, ordinary people would have no problem entering this place. However, who would want to establish a superpower here and make use of the dragon vein here? The next day, they would be destroyed by someone and cease to exist. Could it be that the nest of 10,000 dragons was buried in the Qinling Mountains? Everyone exclaimed, and some of the top seeker spirit masters were shocked. Indeed, the Qinling Mountains looked like a huge dragon vein from here. It could really be the hiding place of the Dragon Clan. However, the Qinling Mountains were too vast. It was impossible to tell where the end was. Therefore, they still did not know where the entrance to the nest of 10,000 dragons was. Unless someone gave them directions, they would have to search one by one, and that would take a long time. Fortunately, Lin Xian knew the exact coordinates. With a flash of his body, he walked towards the mountain range below. Hurry up and keep up. The other sacred leaders and sect masters hurriedly followed. They were not willing to fall behind by even a single point. For a moment, everyone followed Lin Xian's figure and quickly flew into the distance. After flying for about a few million miles, Lin Xian stopped in front of them. The sect masters and sacred leaders behind also stopped when they saw this scene. They were extremely nervous. Was it here? Here? Those seeker spirit masters also frowned, and their eyes flickered. What's wrong? Is there a problem? The terrain here was so strange. Logically speaking, it shouldn't be the place with the most essence of the dragon vein. Could it be that it wasn't here? Those sacred leaders and sect masters frowned. The people they invited were all very powerful seeker spirit masters. He was a super expert in spirit seeking and pulse fixing. Now, the expressions of these people made them uneasy, but soon they became serious, because in front of them, Lin Xian had made his move again. Lin Xian flew to the left for another several 100,000 miles before coming to a complete stop. This was the place. He waved his hand, and a huge light sword appeared. He swung it downward. Instantly, the light sword stood on the ground and pierced into the clouds. Was it really here? That's impossible. Those powerful seekers' spirit masters frowned. Seeing these people's doubts, Lin Xian snorted coldly. He exerted force with his palm, and the huge light trembled and bloomed. Cracks appeared on the ground within a radius of tens of thousands of miles. Then, an extremely terrifying force erupted like a volcano, spewing out in all directions. These sacred leaders and sect masters were so scared that they quickly rose into the air. Lin Xian was already prepared. The power of yin and yang appeared under his feet, and he quickly retreated. Buzz, buzz, buzz below, array runes flickered. It came and went quickly. In an instant, it disappeared without a trace. However, that power could easily kill an invincible king. What a powerful array! It was an ancient array. Moreover, it was an ancient killing array. That's right. It must be this place. Otherwise, who would have set up such a terrifying killing array? Those sacred ancestor sect masters screamed. And the surrounding powerful seeker spirit masters were also extremely shocked. Was it really here? This shouldn't be. This was different from what they usually knew. However, the eyes of a few living fossil-level seeker spirit masters lit up. Mysterious runes flashed on their bodies. I know. It's actually like this. They were excited as if they had been injected with chicken blood. Elder, what's going on? Those young seeker spirit masters asked, one after another. They had searched for many spirit veins on a daily basis and could be said to be experienced and powerful, but they could not understand the situation here. The living fossil who spoke was a super elder of the Tuoba family. The Tuoba family was the flag of a powerful seeker's spirit master family. The super elder in their family finally screamed. This was a place where no hidden dragon could be found. This place seemed ordinary, but if one looked carefully, this was a place where the essence of the dragon veins gathered. It was just that it was buried deep, and ordinary people could not see through it at all. It turned out to be like this. Was this the land of hidden dragons that was recorded in the ancient books? The other seeker spirit masters were also extremely shocked. It was too mysterious. Without the specific coordinates, these people would not be able to find it even if they searched for a lifetime. As expected of the nest of 10,000 dragons, it was indeed terrifying. Just the location alone was so mysterious. The other sacred ancestor sect masters were wild with joy. Since they had found it, the next step was to break the array formation. The Queen Mother of the West, the Yi family's patriarch, and the other 6 sacred masters descended and met up with Lin Xian. Hall Master Lin, let's begin. Lin Xian nodded. With the Immortal Palace, the Yi family, and the 7 great alliances as the main forces, they cooperated with the surrounding sacred lands and great sects and began to break the array formation. Countless array formation masters descended from the sky and landed in the surroundings preparing to study and break the array formation. Chapter 2690. On Immortal Palace's side, Lin Xian was handed over to the Crimson Dragon and a group of array grandmasters. The Crimson Dragon was extremely excited. He was a member of the dragon race and an array grandmaster. Now that he could personally open the nest of 10,000 dragons, it was of great significance to him. Moreover, this time, it wasn't just him. There were also countless terrifying array grandmasters helping him. It could be said that they would definitely be able to break it this time. Boom, boom, roar. However, after about 5 or 6 days, a shocking light appeared. The surrounding mountain ranges for millions of kilometers began to tremble as countless rays of light swept out in all directions. The array grandmasters were forced to retreat. Many of them vomited blood. The array grandmasters are too powerful, far beyond our expectations. Damn it, why don't we use our sacred weapons to attack? With so many sacred lands and sects joining forces, I don't believe that we can't break it open. Absolutely not. Several older array grandmasters hurriedly shook their heads. It was still possible to use one or two sacred weapons to try. However, if all the sacred lands and sects attacked together, the consequences would be too terrifying. After all, this was the Qinling Mountains, an incomparably mysterious existence that could turn a divine dynasty into ashes overnight. If we really touch something that we shouldn't touch, I'm afraid that we will be mercilessly erased. Hearing this, the sacred leaders and sect masters all fell silent. Yes, back then, a sacred ground-level faction built a divine dynasty here, but it was easily destroyed. Until now, they still didn't know what kind of faction it was. Who destroyed the other party? This undoubtedly meant that this place was extremely terrifying. Now, they were going to use hundreds of sacred weapons to fight here. They would probably end up very miserably. However, it would be very troublesome to break it without sacred weapons. How about this? Use one or two sacred weapons and give it a try. Someone suggested. In the end, the sacred leaders of the Dayan's sacred ground and the all-beginnings sacred ground walked out. They took out two sacred weapons and prepared to give it a try. The sacred leader of the Dayan's sacred ground took out a sacred sword, and a terrifying sword light spread out. The all-beginnings sacred leader took out a primal chaos hammer. The two intact sacred weapons emitted a terrifying aura that bloomed into the nine heavens. Moreover, they were personally controlled by the two sacred leaders. It could be said that this strike could really destroy the sky. The formation below trembled violently, and an even more terrifying light flashed. However, the formation did not take the attack head-on. Instead, it produced mysterious runes that opened up the void and banished the two terrifying attacks into the void. Damn it, what a strange formation. This was a spatial array. Damn it, the people who set up the nest of 10,000 dragons must have thought of this situation back then. Therefore, as long as there was a power at the level of a sacred weapon, it would probably directly hit the void and would not be able to hurt the nest of 10,000 dragons. He was really unwilling to accept this. If it weren't for this strange legend, we would have used our extreme weapons. The eyes of a few ancient sacred grounds flickered. However, the Yi family, the Gu family, and the other remote antiquity families did not dare to use them. The reason for that was because the consequences of using an extreme Dao weapon were simply too frightening. If they were to really end up attracting someone that they were unable to contend against, it would definitely be a devastating blow. How about this? Let's use a formation master to crack it. We've waited for so many years. Waiting a little longer won't hurt. That's right. For people like them, 8 to 10 years passed in the blink of an eye. What they wanted was safety, stability, and no accidents. The two sacred weapons could not break it. So the various sacred grounds put away this thought and instructed their respective formation masters to do their best to crack it. They were prepared for a long battle. Sure enough, the various sacred grounds shouted loudly and set up camp here. They formed bases one after another. Many powerhouses guarded here, and there were also disciples who came and went to transport resources. Those formation masters had solemn expressions as they quickly worked together to crack the formation bit by bit. The Crimson Dragon also led a group of Immortal Palace's formation masters to join the battle. Once they cracked it, a year passed. In a year's time, everyone only cracked a little. However, they did not give up. Instead, their confidence increased greatly. It seemed that this method was feasible, but it would take a little time. This bit of time was simply a drop in the ocean for them. It was not worth mentioning. Moreover, everyone knew that as long as they found the key to the formation and cracked it, the entire formation would collapse. Therefore, although it seemed like a long time, it would actually take less than a few years. During this year, the outside world had also undergone earth-shaking changes. The commotion at Qinling Mountain was too huge, and it finally attracted the attention of those people. They rushed over, and found that there were countless sacred lords, sect masters, and a large number of formation masters here. Obviously, this should be the nest of 10,000 dragons. The news that the nest of 10,000 dragons was in Qinling Mountain spread and shocked the world. Countless people gathered here, wanting to enter. However, some people waited for a few months, some waited for half a year, and some waited for even longer, but they still found that there were no signs of it opening. This made them discuss animatedly. In the end, news spread that the formation would take many years to crack, so it was useless to wait here for the time being. No way. So many sacred grounds, sects, and clan of the ancients gathered together. It actually took such a long time. What do you know? The nest of 10,000 dragons is the legendary dragon race. It's their burial ground. How could it be simple? It's probably similar to the other forbidden areas. Is it strange to take so many years to crack it? In my opinion, it's already a miracle to be able to crack it. That's true. Everyone discussed animatedly. However, among them, many family organizations also spontaneously formed an alliance. They gathered all the formation masters in the world and prepared to join the cracking camp. After all, other than the sacred grounds, there were also many powerful family clans. They might not be qualified to be called sacred grounds, but their combined forces were still very terrifying. Therefore, a steady stream of formation masters from all over the world rushed over to help. This surprised the various holy lands. Lin Xian, the Crimson Dragon, and the others were overjoyed. With the participation of family organizations from all over the world, the speed of cracking the formation would increase again. That was the first thing. The second thing also shocked everyone. Moreover, the younger generation of prodigies almost went crazy. That was because a piece of news came from somewhere and quickly spread throughout the world. Moreover, it was getting more and more intense. That was, someone had ranked the prodigies of the Eastern Wilderness, Western Desert, Zhongzhou, Nanling, and Northern Plains. And each continent had a number one person who was even given a title. The news also said that these 5 people had the potential to become great emperors and were the 5 most likely to become great emperors. As soon as this news came out, the world was in an uproar. Moreover, the people who paid the most attention were the younger generation. Chapter 2691. Emperors were existences that had suppressed the ancient times, who didn't want to be number one. Moreover, they were all geniuses. No one would completely admire others. They all believed that their strength was unparalleled. However, there was no publicly acknowledged number one. But now, someone had actually pushed out the number one of 5 continents. This directly pushed these 5 to the forefront of the storm. Eastern Sage, Western Buddha, Southern Emperor, Northern Beast, and Central Emperor. Eastern Sage, naturally referred to Eastern Wastelands, Saint Physique, Yi Wudao. Western Buddha referred to Western Deserts, Thousand Buddha Temples, Saint Wuchen. Southern Emperor, Southern Mountains, Yen family, Yen Nantian. Rumor had it that he had obtained the inheritance of an emperor. Northern Beast, no one knew his name, but it was rumored that he had the bloodline of one of the 10 great ancient beasts. It was extremely heaven-defying. Rumor had it that when he went out once, 10,000 beasts had submitted to him. No one dared to resist. Central Emperor. Central Continent was famous for its dynasty. However, Central Emperor didn't refer to some prince, nor did it refer to the dynasty's sacred lords. It referred to a youth, Lin Xian. Emperor wasn't the royal family, but the emperor. 3 sovereigns and 5 emperors. Emperors and emperors were the same. They were both existences that had reached the peak. However, the title of emperor was even more precious. These 5 youths were praised to the heavens. However, what followed was the jealousy of countless geniuses. One had to know that as peak geniuses, no one was willing to submit to anyone. Moreover, the true spirit continent was simply too vast. There were countless geniuses who would dare to call themselves number one. But now, someone had actually gone crazy and gave these 5 people heaven-defying titles. It was said that the future great emperor would be born from these 5 people. How could the rest of the world accept this? One had to know that although these 5 were peak geniuses, there were too many geniuses that weren't inferior to them. Battle Race's number 1 genius, Celestial Race's peerless genius, Gu family's divine physique, Dao One Holy Land's innate Dao physique, Central Continent's dragon Dao emperor physique. There were simply too many of them. Although they couldn't be said to win, they could definitely stand shoulder to shoulder with them and reach the same peak. However, someone had chosen these 5 people. How could the remaining peerless geniuses accept this? Damn it, who was it that sent out such a message? The Yi family's faces turned gloomy instead of excited. Leaf Dowdenier had just been hunted down for some unknown reason, and had narrowly escaped death. But now, only a few years later, someone was pushing Leaf Dowdenier into the eye of the storm. What was he trying to do? They didn't believe that someone was actually praising Leaf Dowdenier. It was clearly a soft stab at him, a way to incur the displeasure of everyone under heaven. Apparently, Leaf Dowdenier was going to be in big trouble in the future. Eastern Sage. This title was equivalent to the number 1 person among the younger generation in the Eastern Wilderness. The Eastern Barren Territory was vast, and there were many geniuses. It was even possible that some of the older generation figures would assassinate them in order to pave the way for the later generation of disciples. Not only the Yi clan, but the other clans as well. Nanling and the Yen family were also on high alert. In the Western Desert, the 10,000 Buddha temple was investigating in secret. Who was the one who spread this news? The northern demons of the northern plains had disappeared without a trace. The other party was simply too mysterious. Up until now, no one had been able to clearly see who the northern demon was. The middle continent was in an uproar. The central continent had always considered itself to be the center of the true spirit world, looking down on the other 4 continents. It could be said to be the place with the most outstanding people in the true spirit world. There were many spirit veins and countless dragon veins. There were also many powerful experts. Not only were there many sacred grounds, but there were also terrifying clans. There were also divine dynasties. Each and every one of those dynasties was terrifying beyond compare. They had even produced ancient emperors and had left behind ultimate weapons. But now, their descendants, their princes, weren't crowned as the number 1 person. The one who was called the Middle Emperor was actually someone else, someone who didn't belong to any dynasty. Lin Xian. Damn it, what did he do to deserve the title of Middle Emperor? The princes of the Tai dynasty all went crazy, and they all roared. The empress screamed at the top of her lungs. There was an irreconcilable hatred between her and Lin Xian. However, not only had he survived her many attempts to kill him, but he had also become the Middle Emperor. Now, he was even called the Middle Emperor. One had to know that the title of Emperor couldn't be used carelessly. Even the sacred lords of the divine dynasties didn't dare to use the title of Emperor because the title of Emperor was too special. Only extremely terrifying great emperors or great emperors who had made great contributions to the world could be bestowed the title of Emperor. It could be said that the emperor was a supreme existence among the great emperors. There were many great emperors, but there were very few who were truly bestowed the title of emperor. Therefore, everyone was crazy about the title of Middle Emperor and valued it greatly. It wasn't just the Tai dynasty. The other dynasties, especially the princes, all threatened to kill Lin Xian with their own hands. In addition to these dynasties, countless geniuses in the central continent also set out to search for Lin Xian crazily. Lin Xian didn't accompany the Crimson Dragon all the time. He had already returned to the Immortal Palace to prepare to cultivate while cracking the Array Formation in the Qinling Mountains. After all, when the nest of 10,000 dragons opened, there would be a fierce battle. So now he had to seize the opportunity to improve his strength. But on this day, he was awakened. Outside, the elders of the Immortal Palace were transmitting their voices over and over again. It seemed that something had happened. This surprised Lin Xian. What was going on? Lin Xian frowned. Could it be that there was a new breakthrough in the nest of 10,000 dragons? No, Palace Master, come out quickly. Something bad has happened. What happened? Lin Xian was puzzled. He came out of seclusion and rushed to the Starry Hall. At this moment, countless elders were gathered in the Starry Hall. Peacock, Hu Yidao, Ghost Li, and other geniuses were also standing there with anxious expressions. When they saw Lin Xian arrive, they hurriedly shouted to pay their respects to the Palace Master. Get up! Lin Xian waved his hand. What's going on? What exactly happened? Palace Master, take a look at this first. Peacock took out a jade scroll and handed it over. Lin Xian probed with his soul power and quickly browsed through it. What was this? In the next moment, he was stunned, because what was recorded was the news about his title of Middle Emperor. Who released this? Lin Xian retracted his soul power and asked with a frown. His expression wasn't very good, because he could naturally understand that someone was targeting the five of them. He didn't know. The news was spread half a year ago, but no one knew where it came from. Moreover, in the past half a year, it had spread to every corner of the true spirit world. Everyone in the streets and alleys knew about the 5 titles. Palace Master. This person is too vicious. He didn't make a move himself and wanted to use the methods of the world to get rid of the 5 of you. That's right. Those Immortal Palace elders' faces were also grave. The Eastern Wasteland's sacred physique had unlimited potential. Once it grew up, it would be an existence comparable to a great emperor. That Wuchen of the Western Desert was said to be the reincarnation of an ancient Buddha. Chapter 2692. It was said that Yen Nantian of the southern mountains had obtained the inheritance of the great emperor. The northern beasts were the descendants of one of the 10 great ancient ferocious beasts. As for you, you displayed the 9-yang divine body a year ago. That's a lost divine body. After cultivating it, it's not weaker than a sacred body. Naturally, you'll be targeted and become a thorn in the flesh. I'm afraid they don't want you to grow. Indeed, the elder was right. Lin Xian's eyes flickered. He did not expect that he would be targeted. Moreover, they used such a method. However, that person thought too highly of him. He gave him too much face and directly called him the Central Emperor. He was afraid that the imperial dynasties of Middle Ground would go crazy. What's the situation outside? Lin Xian asked. Hu Yidao sighed. The situation is very bad. According to our intelligence, the princes of the various imperial dynasties want to fight the Temple Master. Not only that, but the other peerless geniuses also said that they want to fight the Temple Master to the death. Among them, the number 1 genius of the war tribe even said something ruthless. Other than that, there's also the heavenly human race's little heavenly king. Every top genius is very difficult to deal with. What should we do? How about this? We'll deny it and say that someone is joking and an elder suggested it. However, Lin Xian shook his head. No, since he gave me the title of Central Emperor, I'll accept it. As for the challenges, if they're not afraid of death, they can come. He sneered, and a cold light appeared in his eyes. Did these people really think that he only had the 9-yang divine body? He also had the great dragon sword soul, which had the highest attack power. He was determined to get the title of Central Emperor. No, Temple Master, it's too risky. There would probably be endless battles in the future. In the past, when he didn't have this title, everyone was at peace. There was no real fight, and there was no winner. However, with this title, you've become the target of all the geniuses of middle ground. That's right. If they defeat you, they will be able to obtain this title. This is a supreme honor for them. Therefore, I'm afraid that those people will go crazy and challenge you. It doesn't matter. Lin Xian waved his hand. As long as you guarantee that those old monsters won't jump out to kill me, it's fine. He was not worried about the younger generation. Instead, he was worried about the old monsters in the top forces. If there was a saint who really didn't like him and jumped out to kill him, he really wouldn't be able to resist. That was why, as long as Immortal Palace could stop these old monsters, he had confidence in sweeping through the younger generation. He would let everyone know who the young emperor of Central State was. All the elders were stunned. Peacock and the other elders' minds were blank. They looked at Lin Xian's confident and calm face. For a long time, they were speechless. In the end, those elders sighed. All right, Palace Master, don't worry. We will use all of Immortal Palace's power to protect your safety. He would definitely not let any old monster succeed in a sneak attack. It wasn't just Lin Xian's side. The Yi family and the other titled families from the other 4 continents also made statements. The main thing was that saint-level people were forbidden from attacking, and Invincible King was also forbidden from carrying a complete, holy weapon in pursuit. Once they discovered him, they would kill him instantly at all costs. However, they weren't at ease, because this thing could intimidate existences with powerful backgrounds. But if a rogue cultivator or a saint without a sect really attacked and hid for a few thousand years, they really wouldn't be able to find him. That was why from now on they assigned countless experts to Yi Wudao and the other sides. Lin Xian, get the hell out here. You are not worthy of being called Central Emperor. I will definitely cut you down with my blade. The War Race's number 1 prodigy spoke. Immediately, Central State was shaken. The War Race was an ancient race. The War Race's number 1 prodigy was definitely incomparably terrifying, one of the most terrifying prodigies. At this moment, he declared that he would kill Lin Xian. This caused everyone to be shocked and excited. They knew that a heaven-shaking battle was about to happen. After the War Race's number 1 prodigy spoke, the Celestial Race's Little Sky King also jumped out, declaring that he would avenge his humiliation with blood. He would kill Lin Xian. His injuries had long since healed. However, he couldn't swallow the anger in his heart. Previously, he had lost to Lin Xian at the Nacre Lake. It was the greatest humiliation of his life, and he wanted to pay it back with his own hands. The princes and crown princes of the various empires were furious, all of them wanting to challenge Lin Xian. Apart from the princes, there was one more person. It was the twin kings of Central State. He hadn't appeared for many years. Ever since he lost to Lin Xian in the ancient tomb, he had disappeared. In fact, he had gone into seclusion. This time, he had made substantial progress, so he came out of seclusion and appeared in the Central State. However, when he came out and learned that Lin Xian had obtained the title of Central Emperor, he was furious. After all, he was known as the Twin Kings of Central State. He was extremely terrifying in the Central State. Basically, no one was a match for him, except for the fact that he lost to Lin Xian. Therefore, this time, he wanted to avenge his humiliation. Countless geniuses wanted to fight Lin Xian for the title of Central Emperor. In fact, it wasn't just Lin Xian. Yi Wudao also received many challenges. Many saints' sons and geniuses came to provoke him. South Emperor and North Buddha also received challenges. The one who had it the easiest was probably the mysterious North Beast. Even if someone wanted to challenge him, they wouldn't be able to find him. Moreover, those who wanted to challenge him were probably from the beast race. Of course, the northern plains was vast. and geniuses came out in large numbers. Therefore, there were also people who wanted to challenge North Beast for the title of number one. All of a sudden, the entire true spirit continent was in turmoil. A great battle was about to break out. The people of Qinling also received the news. However, they couldn't leave now. The Crimson Dragon was controlling the formation as he exclaimed repeatedly, "Damn, such a wonderful thing actually happened. Damn. Why didn't they give Ben Huang a title? I want the title of Dragon Emperor." He used his ultimate skills with all his might, trying to break the formation seal as soon as possible. The others were also shocked. Murong, Qingcheng, Shenjingqiu, and the others were also worried for Lin Xian. They communicated with Lin Xian several times, and Lin Xian told them not to worry. This made the two women feel a lot more at ease. That was because Lin Xian seemed to be very confident. In another place, the people of Beast King Palace were also gnashing their teeth. Damn it, North Beast's title was actually not from Beast King Palace's people. This was intolerable. Damn it. Even if it wasn't from Heaven Capital, it should be Yen Ruyu. After all, Yen Ruyu's identity. An elder was so angry that he almost spilled the beans, but was stopped by the others. Another expert said, "It's nothing. I'm afraid. Only we know how terrifying Yen Ruyu's identity is. How could the person who spread the news know? Therefore, it's normal that he didn't enter the rankings. Moreover, can't you see? This ranking is extremely murderous. It's obvious that he wants to kill these 5 peak geniuses. Therefore, being on the list wasn't necessarily a good thing. Not being on the list could actually save one's life. These 5 geniuses were probably in danger." Chapter 2693. That's right. Humph, let's see if they can hold on. Many people sneered again and again. Sure enough, Lin Xian and the rest were in great danger. When Lin Xian left the Immoral Palace and appeared outside, he immediately received an impact. "You're Lin Xian?" In front, endless spiritual energy rolled, turning into an azure dragon. Rolling over, there was a figure standing on top of the azure dragon phantom. A young man wearing a yellow robe, looking down on the world. "I'm the divine Wind Empire's 9th prince." The young man's voice was cold, his gaze sharp like a heavenly blade. "Give me your title of Central Emperor, and announce it to the world. I can spare your life." He was very conceited and arrogant, with his hands behind his back, never looking Lin Xian in the eye. "Who do you think you are? You dare to use the title of Central Emperor? This title only belongs to our royal family. For your royal family? What a joke! This emperor is not the emperor of the royal family, but the emperor of the 3 sovereigns and 5 emperors. Can your royal family afford to use it?" Lin Xian was not moved at all. He was already prepared to welcome the challenge of the world's heroes. How could he easily give up the title of Central Emperor? "I'll give you a chance to live. Get lost. If you dare to block my path again, be careful that I'll slaughter you." Lin Xian's voice was cold. The divine Wind Empire's 9th prince was also angry. "Looks like you really don't know life from death. Fine. The title of Central Emperor will be taken back by me personally." The 9th prince snorted coldly, took a step out, and instantly arrived in front of Lin Xian. He waved his palm, slapping at Lin Xian. This palm was seriously too terrifying, shattering the void, making people feel despair. The divine Wind 9th prince was a very terrifying heaven's pride. His strength was very strong, not weaker than a holy sun. Even among the holy sun-level heaven's prides, he also belonged to the top existence. Apart from this, he also had a greatest reliance, and that was his bloodline power. As everyone knew, the royal family members all possessed bloodline power. But this 9th prince's bloodline power was very powerful. He relied on his powerful bloodline power to cultivate the peerless divine ability, divine Wind Azure Dragon body. This was an extremely terrifying physique. It was so powerful that no one could predict it. Therefore, the casual palm strike of the 9th Prince of Divine Wind was extremely shocking. The ninth Prince of Divine Wind didn't come alone. Of course, he didn't bring any other princes with him, but when he came out, he rode the Azure Dragon's phantom. Although it was condensed from the aura of the Tao of Dragon and was not a real dragon, the scene was too spectacular. It attracted the attention of countless people along the way. When everyone found out that this was the ninth Prince of Divine Wind, and that his goal was to challenge Lin Xian, they were shocked. Countless warriors followed. They did not want to miss such a world-shaking battle. Therefore, when the ninth Prince of Divine Wind struck out with his palm, the martialists in the distance were all stunned. How terrifying! The ninth Prince of Divine Wind was actually so terrifying. That's right. In the Central State Empire, there were many outstanding people. None of them could be underestimated. The ninth Prince of Divine Wind was not that famous before. He didn't expect it to be so terrifying. I feel that this time's ranking will probably attract many hidden monsters. That's for sure. Just wait. A storm is about to sweep through. I wonder how many challenges that Lin Xian can withstand. Why do I feel that he won't be able to withstand even one challenge? You underestimate him too much. The nine-yang divine body is an extremely terrifying physique. It's not any weaker than a saint body. Therefore, I still think highly of Lin Xian. Moreover, his Tao of Sword is truly terrifying. You haven't experienced it personally, but I have seen it with my own eyes. When the time comes, you'll know. Many people supported the ninth prince, but there were more people who supported Lin Xian. Facing the ninth Prince of Divine Wind's shocking palm strike, Lin Xian narrowed his eyes. He felt a trace of threat. This was really an era where geniuses were emerging in large numbers. The ninth prince was actually so powerful. But so what? He snorted coldly. In the next moment, he activated his nine-yang divine body. Thousands of rays of light bloomed. He stood in the void like a golden god of war. He clenched his fist and punched out. The supreme innate technique of the war race, the heavenly battle god fist, was executed by him. This fist contained an indomitable might that seemed capable of destroying the heavens and earth. Boom, boom. The fist and palm collided. The sky collapsed, and the earth cracked. The surrounding space quickly cracked. Not good. Retreat quickly. The people who were watching the battle from afar tore the void apart and quickly retreated tens of thousands of miles away. It was just a casual attack from the two of them, but it caused such a terrifying scene. Lin Xian and the ninth Prince of Divine Wind were really terrifying. Take my royal heaven battling divine fist. The ninth Prince of Divine Wind roared and unleashed his terrifying fist. An aura that seemed to be able to destroy the world spread out. At this moment, he was like an invincible emperor. If God or Buddha blocked his path, he would kill Buddha. This aura suppressed the martial artists who were watching the battle from afar. Lin Xian snorted coldly. You want to obtain the title of Middle Emperor with just you? The difference was too great. Lin Xian waved his fist and pressed forward. In the past year of seclusion, Lin Xian had made use of treasures to improve his nine-yang divine body. It had reached the fifth stage of the first stage. At this moment, his physique had grown stronger. Therefore, he was not afraid of the shockwaves from the battle. Boom, 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 boom. His fist was like the sun shining in all directions. The terrifying force tore apart all the palms. Is this all you can do? It's just SOL. Lin Xian said coldly. His fist was like a dragon. It let out a loud dragon roar and forced the ninth Prince of Divine Wind to retreat with a punch. The ninth Prince of Divine Wind's blood was boiling as he smashed through the void. You're really strong. No wonder someone gave you the title of Middle Emperor. However, I'm going to get this title today. I'll let you see my Azure Dragon Divine, wind body. Boom, boom, boom. The ninth prince of divine wind stepped on the azure dragon. His black hair fluttered in the wind. The yellow robe on his body shook continuously. With a roar, dragon marks appeared on his body. The dragon shadow under his feet roared and wrapped around the ninth prince's body. In the next moment, the ninth prince of divine wind underwent a shocking change. Dragon tattoos even appeared on his body, and his physique had turned green. An extremely terrifying power burst forth from his body. It was as if the ninth prince of divine wind had turned into a human-shaped dragon. With a punch, the ninth prince of divine wind shattered the fists of the sun. Then the ninth prince of divine wind looked at Lin Xian. Go to hell, brat. How terrifying. What kind of physique is this? Azure Dragon Divine Wind Body. He had actually cultivated the Divine Wind Dynasty's peerless divine ability. In the distance, the experts exclaimed. His physique was extremely terrifying. It was said that it was a divine ability left behind by the founding monarch of the Divine Wind Dynasty. What? A divine ability left behind by the founding monarch? Everyone's eyelids twitched when they heard that. They wondered if the Azure Dragon Divine Wind Body was stronger than the Azure Dragon Divine Wind Body. It was hard to say. After all, the Azure Dragon Divine Wind Body had disappeared for tens of thousands of years. They had only heard of its power in rumors. Everyone was discussing intensely. They were looking forward to the battle. Chapter 2694. In front of him, a palm strike shook the heavens and earth. Lin Xian narrowed his eyes when he saw the other party use his ultimate technique. What Azure Divine Dragon Body? It can't even withstand a single blow from me. 9 Yang Divine Body. Erupt! Lin Xian clenched his fists and roared at the sky. The 9 Yang Divine Body erupted with an unparalleled light. Countless rays of light hung down from his body and pierced through the void. Around him, divine flames formed by light pulsated. Every pulsation brought with it unparalleled power. Heavenly God Fist. 9 suns opened the sky. The two of them used their great divine abilities and directly attacked each other. Boom. The heavens collapsed and the earth cracked. The void couldn't withstand this power at all. That was because these two physiques were too terrifying. The 9 Yang Divine Body was like the Sun War God's physique. Once this physique was used, it could sweep through everything. The Azure Dragon Body was also very terrifying. It was left behind by the founding monarch of the Divine Wind Dynasty. It was definitely a shocking, great divine ability. Moreover, in order to practice the Azure Divine Dragon Body, the 9th prince used the blood of a peerless demon king every day to temper his body. He was confident that his body was no weaker than a sacred physique, not to mention the other party's 9 Yang Divine Body. Azure Dragon Break. The 9th prince used his ultimate technique. With a boom, the spiritual energy within a radius of tens of thousands of miles quickly spread and merged into the fist. In the next moment, the terrifying fist enveloped the world. The surrounding void was filled with countless fist shadows, emitting an incomparably terrifying power. Kill. With a roar, the Azure Dragon Break charged over. This was a very terrifying killing move that could easily kill a peerless almighty. The 9th prince was even confident that he could use this move to contend against an unparalleled king. Humph! Today, I'll let you experience the true power of the 9 Yang Divine Body. Lin Xian snorted coldly. Countless runes flickered on his body, erupting with a piercing cold light. The light turned into a sharp sword that pierced in all directions. At this moment, the people in the distance all trembled. They couldn't help but want to kneel forward. It's too terrifying. How can that kid's aura be so terrifying? Why can't I control my body? These people screamed crazily. The light on Lin Xian's body became more and more resplendent, as if a sun had descended to the mortal world, shining so brightly that people couldn't open their eyes. On the opposite side, the ninth prince's expression changed as well. He could feel that his body was trembling slightly. The blood and qi in his body seemed to be solidifying. Damn it, break for me. He let out an angry roar. An endless energy rushed out of his body. The shadow of the azure dragon coiled around his body, resisting the terrifying pressure. It was too terrifying. It was like a pressure that came from the soul. It was so oppressive that he couldn't even raise his head. Is this the nine-yang divine body? It was too terrifying. As expected of the legendary divine body, it was indeed terrifying. Nine Suns' divine fist. Whoa! Lin Xian made his move. He was like a supreme war god of the sun as he brandished his fists. No one could describe this punch because no words could describe how terrifying this punch was. The people watching the battle from afar felt as if the world was collapsing. It was as if they were about to be melted by a sun. That punch was so terrifying that even the ninth prince was trembling. Boom! The divine sun fist and the azure dragon break collided. The heaven and earth were illuminated by countless rays of light. The area within a radius of 1,000,000 miles was filled with terrifying light. Everyone was blasted away by the energy, and they coughed up large mouthfuls of blood. The surrounding mountains continuously collapsed. The earth was split into countless cracks. That punch was so terrifying. Pung, pung, pung. In the endless light, a figure was sent flying with blood. He smashed through the void, broke several mountains, and fell to the ground. Then, the light that filled the sky dissipated like a tide, and all of it entered Lin Xian's body. Lin Xian's body was shining brightly. He looked down and said coldly, "You can't do it." Puff. When the ninth prince heard this, he vomited another mouthful of blood. His face was extremely ugly. He lost. He used the divine wind azure dragon body and the azure dragon break, but he still couldn't stop his opponent. Is the nine-yang divine body so terrifying? He couldn't believe it. No, damn it, I don't believe it. The ninth prince roared crazily. Many cracks appeared on his body. Because of his agitation, a large amount of blood appeared. Whoosh! He spat out a spiritual saber, and the terrifying saber light illuminated the world. Seeing this, Lin Xian snorted coldly. "If you want to fight, I'll accompany you to the end." He took a step forward, and the golden light on his body exploded again. This aura was even more intense than before. Seeing this, the ninth prince trembled, and a trace of fear appeared in his eyes. He became stronger again. His opponent's aura became stronger again. In other words, his opponent didn't use his full strength when he fought with him. Heavens! What was his opponent's limit? At this moment, deep fear appeared in the ninth prince's eyes. This was an emotion that he had never felt before. Since he was young, he had never been afraid of anyone. But now, facing Lin Xian, he was finally afraid. "Elder, go." The ninth prince gritted his teeth and kept his saber. He didn't attack again. Near him, the void split open and an old figure appeared and took the ninth prince away. The ninth prince had been defeated and had fled. After a long time, the surrounding people exclaimed. Their faces were filled with astonishment. The ninth prince had been so arrogant when he came, but he had been defeated so quickly. This Lin Xian was too terrifying, as expected of the successor of the nine-yang divine body. No wonder he was listed as the Middle Emperor. He did have the strength to back it up. The crowd was filled with admiration for Lin Xian, and some were laughing coldly. Just wait. This was only the beginning. The Middle Continent was vast, and there were countless geniuses. There would definitely be a heaven-defying genius who could kill him. He would reclaim the title of Middle Emperor. The crowd discussed among themselves, but no matter what, they were still in awe of Lin Xian, as Lin Xian had won the battle. And it was a beautiful victory. Lin Xian stood with his hands behind his back, glancing around. Seeing that no one was attacking him, he harumphed and flew into the distance. At the same time that Lin Xian was being challenged, Leaf Dao Denier was also being challenged. Yi Wudao hadn't left the clan recently, as the elders of the Yi clan felt that it was too dangerous. They would avoid the limelight for now. They wanted to find out who was the one who released the news. Yi Wudao also felt that he should go into seclusion to prepare for the opening of the nest of 10,000 dragons. However, on this day, the Yi clan welcomed an uninvited guest. It was a swordsman in a green robe. His aura was monstrous, and he was completely surrounded by sword light. On his back, he carried a green sword that emitted a peerless killing intent. He arrived in front of the Yi clan and didn't force his way in. Instead, he stood in the void and said loudly, "I am the Heavenly Spirit Sword King, and I am here to challenge Eastern Sage Yi Wudao." His voice turned into a sword wave that entered the formation, causing a rumble. Below, the figures of the Yi clan flickered, but they had already received orders to report to the elders. Chapter 2695. Soon, an elder of the Yi family appeared. He floated in the air, frowning as he looked at the green-robed swordsman. Over the past few days, dozens of people had come to challenge Yi family, but many of them had been rejected. They felt that the disparity in strength between the two sides was too great. Those people were no match for Yi Wudao. In fact, they couldn't even block one move. Even if they challenged him, it would be meaningless. However, the green-robed swordsman in front of them was different. The elder of the Yi family clearly felt a sense of danger. It was obvious that the other party was an expert of the sword. Below, a golden figure soared into the sky. It was Yi Wudao. He looked at the green-robed swordsman below with a piercing light in his eyes. "You're the Eastern Wilderness Sword King?" "That's right. It's me." The green-robed swordsman nodded. "Very well. I'll fight you." "Very well." Hearing that, the green-robed swordsman smiled. "Let me see if the Saint Physique is as powerful as the legends say." Incomparably cold sword light burst out from his body, covering a radius of tens of thousands of miles. All the birds and beasts in the forest below fled. Even the powerful demon kings were kneeling on the ground, trembling. What a terrifying sword chi. This person is terrifying. Below, countless Yi family disciples also appeared in the surroundings as they looked towards the sky. No matter how terrifying he was no match for Yi Wudao. "That's right, just wait and see. He'll definitely lose." The Yi family disciples discussed animatedly. However, their words didn't affect the celestial spirit Sword King. In the face of such a terrifying sword chi, Yi Wudao calmly stood in the air, his body blooming with golden light. Like a golden god of war, their auras collided in the sky. Dozens of mountains around them shattered, turning into boulders that rolled down, stirring up a lot of dust. The elders of the Yi family sucked in a breath of cold air, extremely shocked. The celestial spirit Sword King was indeed powerful. He wasn't a disciple of a sacred land, but a genius of the celestial spirit sect. The celestial spirit sect wasn't a sacred land, and it was slightly weaker. However, the celestial spirit Sword King was exceptionally talented and had recently risen to prominence. His strength wasn't inferior to the saints, and it seemed that he had a peerless opportunity. Otherwise, he wouldn't be able to contend with Yi Wudao. This person was strong. He was able to resist the power of Daoist Saint Body. The geniuses of the Yi family below were also shocked. No wonder he dared to challenge them. He did have some ability. Above, the heavenly spirit sword monarch made his move. He took a step forward, and the endless sword light on his body trembled. Heavenly spirit sword technique. He immediately used the ultimate technique of the celestial spirit sect. Countless sword lights surrounded his body, forming a celestial spirit sword diagram. They condensed in the sky. The entire sky collapsed in an instant, pierced through by tens of thousands of sword chi. The ground below even cracked, unable to withstand it at all. The sword diagram quickly condensed, covering a part of the sky, and even replacing the sky. The expressions of the Yi family martial artists below also changed. What a terrifying sword energy! This sword light was too terrifying. Even a peerless almighty would not be able to withstand it. Kill, with a furious roar, the heavenly spirit sword diagram pressed down from the sky. Each sword light was like a huge mountain, bringing with it an incomparably sharp aura, causing the Yi family disciples to tremble. Too powerful. The other party was definitely at the level of a top-notch genius. The Eastern Barren territory was indeed mysterious. He did not expect that other than the Yao Guang saint and the Daoyi saint, there was someone else who was so powerful. They had never heard of his name before. He had only risen in recent years. The Yi family disciples below were discussing animatedly. The elders also looked dignified. Yi Wudao was incomparably calm. He snorted coldly and threw out a punch. The golden fist bloomed with light, surging forward like a tide. This punch hit the tens of thousands of sword chi, causing an earth-shattering sound. Countless large cracks appeared, and the sword chi began to tremble rapidly, many of them directly shattered. Seeing this scene, the Yi family martial artists all breathed a sigh of relief. The saint body was indeed powerful. Such a terrifying sword chi had been destroyed with his bare hands. Killed seeing this scene, the green-robed swordsman also stopped smiling. He became incomparably dignified, pulled out the sword on his back, and quickly attacked. One after another, sword chi seemed to split the sky and earth, slashing towards Yi Wudao. Yi Wudao used the 6 divine fists to contend with it. The battle between the two was earth-shattering. This was definitely a scene of destruction. Fortunately, the Yi family was surrounded by a peerless array, so it was impossible to destroy the Yi family. However, the surrounding mountains and forests were completely destroyed. Boom, boom, boom. The two exchanged more than 300 blows. In the end, the celestial spirit sword monarch's celestial spirit scale sword diagram was broken into pieces by Yi Wudao. The celestial spirit sword monarch was also sent flying, vomiting blood. The azure sword in his hand was broken. Most of the bones in his body were broken. He retreated for tens of thousands of miles before stopping, vomiting blood. His eyes were filled with deep shock. Is this the power of a saint body? Too powerful. His celestial spirit sword diagram could easily kill a peerless almighty. Even the saints couldn't contend with it. Coupled with the azure sword in his hand, its power was unparalleled. But now, everything was completely destroyed by the other party's fists. He couldn't resist this power. Whoosh. He swallowed a pill and didn't attack again. You're very strong. I'm not your opponent. When my cultivation improves in the future, I'll find you again. With that, the celestial spirit sword monarch turned into a flash of sword light, and quickly left. Yi Wudao's expression was calm, waiting for him at any time. With that, he retracted his golden light and turned to enter the Yi family. Nanling. At this moment, an intense battle was also going on. The two sides of the battle were naturally Yan Nantian, who had recently been conferred the title of South Emperor. There was no one in Nanling who did not know Yan Nantian. Before he had the title of South Emperor, he had already received the title of a young great emperor, because it was rumored that he had obtained the inheritance of an ancient, great emperor. It could be said that his means were very terrifying. In front of him was a saint who was sent flying with 3 punches. This scene made the entire Nanling tremble. Western desert. Countless figures flashed in the myriad Buddha temple. In front of them was a 14 or 15-year-old youth. He had delicate features and wore a kasaya. Although he was young, no one dared to underestimate him. Because he was the saint of the myriad Buddha temple, it was also this time that he was known as West Buddha. Rumor had it that this youth was the reincarnation of an ancient Buddha to become a great emperor. It could be said that at such a young age, his dharma was very profound. His opponent was also the saint of the Western Desert Holy Land, White Horse Temple. The saint of the White Horse Temple's face was gloomy because he had already used many dharma powers, but he couldn't do anything to the youth in front of him. He felt a sense of powerlessness. Could it be that the other party was really the reincarnation of an ancient Buddha? So heaven-defying. He didn't believe it. Chapter 2696. Buddha's Salvation. The White Horse Temple's holy sun shouted angrily and formed a seal with his palms. Countless rays of light around him turned into a spirit sea that swept forward. This was a great mystical ability. It wasn't used to hurt people, but to save them. Through these rays of light and his Sanskrit chants, he could directly turn the enemy into his servant. It was extremely terrifying to kill someone without leaving a trace. Opposite him, Wu Qin sat cross-legged with a smile on his thin face. He slowly stretched out his finger and rotated it gently. The terrifying Sanskrit Buddhist light around him shattered in an instant. It turned into spiritual energy and gathered towards his finger. Buzz. It turned into a spiritual flower on his finger and rotated gently. A world in a flower, a Bodhi in a leaf. Wu Qin said indifferently. Opposite him, the White Horse Temple's holy sun retreated 3 steps and spat out a mouthful of blood. His face was filled with shock, and his body trembled. Flower-pinching finger. The supreme Buddhist mystical ability. Flower-pinching finger. You've actually mastered it. He was really too shocked. Do you still want to fight? Wu Qin said indifferently as the spiritual flower in his hand continued to rotate, emitting an unfathomable power. You've won. The White Horse Temple's holy sun sighed, helplessly. The other party had even mastered the flower-pinching finger. How could he fight? The surrounding monks were also in an uproar. Even the White Horse Temple's holy sun had been defeated. This Wu Qin was really terrifying. The people of Myriad Buddha Temple smiled. Everything was under their control. This dustless was really formidable. The people of Lanrua Temple also muttered softly as they looked at Wu Hua. Senior brother Wu Hua, if it were you, would you be able to resist his flower-pinching finger? Not necessarily. Wu Hua said that it would depend on how far he had mastered the flower-pinching finger. Although Wu Hua didn't get the title of West Buddha, he wasn't too affected, because he knew that the title was only one aspect. Whether one could become a great emperor or not depended on one's strength. It also depended on luck. Talent, strength, opportunity, and luck. None of them could be lacking. One couldn't become a great emperor without any of them. He wondered how Brother Lin was doing. Wu Hua's eyes flickered. He was also worried for Lin Xian. Lin Xian's situation was indeed very bad. In the past few days, he had already accepted 5 or 6 challenges. Every single one of them was very powerful. Among them, there were quite a few princes of the imperial dynasty. Clearly, these imperial family members were very dissatisfied with him. Fortunately, for the time being, no senior figures had jumped out to assassinate him, nor had any saints made a move. It was unknown whether these people disdained to take action, or if they were secretly stopped by Immortal Palace's people. After defeating another prince, Lin Xian frowned. This couldn't go on. He first sent a voice transmission to the Crimson Shore Divine Dragon to ask about his progress. Lin Xian took out an ancient disc array and transmitted his voice. Soon, news of the Crimson Dragon arrived. It would take a few more years. The exact time was uncertain, but it would take at least 3 years. There was still so much time. Lin Xian's eyes flashed. He put away the array formation and thought of an idea. Didn't these people want to fight? Very well, he would accompany him to the end. He stopped close to a mortal palace, standing on top of a 10,000 zhang tall mountain peak, moreover releasing information, waiting for the heroes of the world to come and fight. I am the Central Emperor Lin Xian, inviting all heroes of the world to come and fight me, not limited to Zhongzhou, Eastern Wasteland, Western Desert, Nanling, and Northern Plains. Anyone who defeats me will be given the title of Central Emperor with both hands. When the news came out, Zhongzhou was shocked, and the world was in an uproar. Arrogant, he was too arrogant. The others were not willing to fight, and they were all in secluded cultivation. However, this Lin Xian was so arrogant that he wanted to accept the challenge of the whole world. Not only Zhongzhou, but everyone in the true spirit world could attack him. Motherf asterisk Kerr, this is too arrogant. Humph, who did he think he was? Could he really defeat all the heroes of the world? Just wait. He must have angered countless geniuses this time. When the time comes, he will cry. Many people gritted their teeth. Sure enough, the geniuses of the other 4 continents were also discussing. They also felt that this guy was too arrogant. Many people even began to teleport across continents, ready to see if this Central Emperor was as powerful as the legends said. At the same time, they also wanted to see what the lost 9-yang divine body was like. When Shun Jingxiu and Morong Qingcheng heard the news, they were also nervous. This time, they directly opened a door and teleported near Lin Xian. Brother Xian, big brother Lin Xian. The 2 girls walked over with worried faces. Lin Xian raised his hand, and countless sword qi transformed into palaces and pavilions that covered the cliff. Don't worry about me, I'm confident. Lin Xian asked the 2 girls to stay by his side for the time being. A few days later, the people of the 9 Li dynasty arrived. A group of people came with a large number of spectators. The person in the lead had black hair that fluttered in the wind, and his eyes were as vast as the stars. The robe on his body was also fluttering with dragon claws. He was very ostentatious. This was the 3rd prince of the 9 Li dynasty, a very powerful prince. He was so powerful that even the elders of the older generation trembled. Kid, do you think you are worthy of the title of Central Emperor? Hand it over obediently, and I'll spare your life. The 3rd prince's voice was cold. 9 dragon shadows that bared their fangs and brandished their claws circled behind him. If you want the title of Central Emperor, let's see if you have the ability. Lin Xian's gaze was calm, and he was neither sad nor happy. You're courting death. Since that's the case, I'll take it personally. The light on the 3rd prince's body became even more resplendent, and the 9 dragon shadows behind him roared. An incomparably violent force surged out. The terrifying force swept in all directions, and the surrounding people were so frightened that they kept retreating. It was too terrifying. The other party was like the Dragon Emperor War God, unstoppable. This was the power of bloodline. The 9 Li dynasty's bloodline power had produced a great emperor. This 3rd prince was also considered a descendant of a great emperor. His bloodline power was truly incomparably terrifying. Divine Dragon Hand. The 3rd prince laughed loudly. He stretched out his palm, which transformed into a giant dragon that bared its fangs and brandished its claws. With a single move, the sky shattered, and the surrounding mountains collapsed and shattered. The 3rd prince was simply too powerful. He truly had the combat strength of a top saint, and the older generation was no match for him at all. Perhaps only the princes of the great Xia dynasty, such as Yi Wudao, could fight against him. Lin Xian faced this palm and did not dodge at all. The 9-yang divine body bloomed with light, and his palm turned into a sun that slammed forward. Great sun burns the heavens. The light of the 9-yang divine body turned into a raging fire that burned fiercely, covering the entire sky. The mighty divine fire collided with the divine dragon hand, and a shocking sound was heard. Soon, the divine dragon hand was enveloped by the divine fire that filled the sky as if it was going to burn to ashes. Humph, you can't hurt my divine dragon hand. The third prince was incomparably confident. Humph, is that so? Don't be so confident. Lin Xian sneered. My 9-yang divine fire can burn everything. As he spoke, the light on Lin Xian's body exploded again, and endless flames rose into the sky. Chapter 2697. The divine dragon's palm also emitted white smoke and gradually became smaller. Damn it, how is this possible? Break. The third prince's face was gloomy. He did not expect to suffer a loss as soon as he made his move. Thousands of rays of light burst out from his eyes, and his left hand drew a circle again and blasted out. This punch was like the starry sky of the universe, like a giant dragon soaring into the sky. Lin Xian also laughed and raised his palm. In his palm, endless light burst out and turned into a golden steel, suppressing down. Seal. This was naturally the heavenly steel of the Black Demon Cliff that he had created with the great dragon sword soul. It shone brightly, and mysterious runes shone between heaven and earth with mysterious power. This thing could seal the Black Demon Cliff, not to mention the third prince's fist. Sure enough, the dragon shadow formed by the third prince's fist was directly killed. It kept rolling in the sky, but it could not escape. Lin Xian was too terrifying. He was directly suppressing the third prince. Everyone was shocked. They found that the third prince's ultimate technique was all easily broken by the other party. The third prince's face was also gloomy. He turned into a bolt of lightning and rushed towards Lin Xian. Heavenly Lion Seal. The third prince quickly formed a seal with his palm. An endless light appeared, turning into a purple lion that pounced over. This attack was extremely terrifying, and the void in front of it instantly shattered. Obviously, this was also the ultimate technique of the Nine Li dynasty. However, Lin Xian laughed. You want to compete with me? You're courting death. He used the great dragon sword soul to evolve a supreme saint technique, and his palms also formed a seal. The power of the 5 elements circulated, turning into a 5 elements mountain that enlarged in the sky and then rushed over. With a boom, the purple lion was blasted away. Not only that, but the 5 elements mountain was also spinning nonstop, turning into a huge mountain that was tens of thousands of feet tall. It descended from the sky, wanting to suppress the third prince. Damn it! Heavenly Lion Roar. The third prince shifted his position and dodged the attack of the 5 elements mountain. At the same time, he controlled the heavenly lion that was blasted away to let out an earth-shattering roar. A sonic attack. As soon as it appeared, the sky fell and the earth cracked. Those in the distance bled from their ears, and many martial artists directly fell from the sky. The others even sealed off their hearing. Behind them, Shen Jingqiu and Murong Qingcheng were in the palace. They were equally shocked when they saw this. The two of them were safe and sound because Lin Xian had already set up countless formations around them to protect their safety. Moreover, with their strength, they were not afraid of this kind of sonic attack at all. Miss Seductress, do you think Brother Lin Xian can win? Shen Jingqiu's face was full of worry, while Murong Qingcheng's eyes flickered. Don't worry, this third prince is strong, but from the looks of it, Brother Xian still has a lot of trump cards that he hasn't used yet. That's good. Big Brother Lin Xian definitely won't lose. Shun Jingqiu smiled and watched the battle carefully. Finger of annihilation. Lin Xian snorted and flicked his finger. A sword wave spread out in all directions with him as the center. This sword wave contained the power of the great dragon sword spirit, which could destroy everything. Naturally, it could destroy the sound waves. Boom, boom. When the two collided, the heavens collapsed, and the earth cracked. Black holes appeared one after another. The sound waves were completely destroyed. How terrifying! The other party was too terrifying. These people were extremely shocked. This battle attracted many princes of the empire, including the prince of the great Xia dynasty. He stood on his golden sword and stood in the void, watching the battle attentively. In the distance, a young man in white stood in the clouds with a giant sword on his back. He also looked down. On the other side, on the spirit boat, countless people surrounded by Yin and Yang Qi watched the battle silently with solemn expressions. The prince of the great Xia dynasty, the great Yen saint, the people of the Yin Yang sect, the 5 elemental palace, and the 9 heavens sacred ground were all there. However, they were all watching the battle from afar. In particular, the people of the Yin Yang sect and the 5 elemental palace were gnashing their teeth. To be honest, they were not there to challenge Lin Xian. They just wanted to see with their own eyes someone defeat him. They wanted to trample him to the ground. However, over the past few days, they realized that no one had succeeded. This made them gnash their teeth in anger. Now, it seemed that the third prince was not completely confident either. Don't worry, this is just the beginning. I don't believe that this kid is invincible. In front of him, all of the third prince's divine abilities were restrained, which made him so angry that he vomited blood. However, he had no intention of stopping. Instead, he pulled out a long saber. Brat, trump cards and foundations were also part of one's strength. So, don't blame me for being impolite. The long saber in his hand was an upper-grade, heaven-grade treasure called the Valiant Dragon Divine Saber. Its power was extremely terrifying. With it, one's combat strength would increase by several times. Previously, he only wanted to rely on his own strength to defeat his opponent. However, it seemed that this path would not work. However, he would not admit defeat. Therefore, he took out his trump card. The others were also indifferent. The other party was right. A person's dharma treasures, trump cards, and secret techniques were naturally considered one's own strength. Therefore, when these people saw the other party take out the Valiant Dragon Divine Saber, they exclaimed in surprise, but no one stopped him. F***CK. How shameless! He actually took out an upper-grade, heaven-grade treasure. When Shun Jingqiu saw this scene, she gritted her teeth in anger. Murong Qingcheng, who was at the side, also frowned. She comforted him. Don't worry, Brother Xian has a lot of treasures. There were quite a few sage fragments here. As expected, when he saw the other party take out the Valiant Dragon Divine Saber, the corners of Lin Xian's mouth curled up into a smile. You're right. Treasures are also part of one's strength. So, don't blame me for what happens next. As he said that, he took out the flower protector. When they saw this scene, the faces of the surrounding people turned green, and they retreated crazily. Damn it, it's that ancient weapon. Damn it, this kid is cheating. That's not right. You all said that weapons are part of one's strength. If the other party can take out an upper-grade, heaven-grade treasure, why can't Lin Xian take out an ancient weapon? That's right. If you have the ability, take it too. Many of the spectators supported Lin Xian, while some supported the third prince. At this moment, the two sides were arguing fiercely. The third prince's face turned green, and the corners of his mouth twitched. Damn it, he wanted to use the advantage of his weapon to crush his opponent. But now it seemed that he was the one who was being crushed. Damn it, he had forgotten that this kid had killed many powerful enemies and entered the saint's ancient tomb. He must have such a treasure in his hands. That damn kid, he's going too far. The third prince was trembling with anger. The surrounding people were also terrified. Lin Xian scratched his head. No, I took out the wrong one. Sorry, don't be afraid. This thing is used to deal with invincible kings. It's a waste to use it on you. Don't worry, I'll change my weapon. Lin Xian waved his hand and put away the flower protector. The others heaved a sigh of relief. The third prince was so angry that he vomited blood. What was going on? How dare his opponent look down on him? He was about to go mad with anger. He was a top genius, and he claimed that he was not inferior to the princes of the great Xia dynasty. He even thought that he was on equal footing with Yi Wudao and the others. But now, not only did he not have the upper hand, but his opponent looked down on him. He could not tolerate it. Chapter 2698. Kid, I won't let you go. The third prince roared like a madman. Lin Xian gave up on Flower Protector and took out the ancient dragon abyss sword. His eyes shone with a cold light. You won't let me go? All right, let's see if you have the ability to do so. As expected of the Middle Emperor, he had the demeanor of an emperor. He didn't even use a weapon like Flower Protector. He was a true genius. Many people exclaimed in amazement. Even those of the older generation nodded their heads repeatedly. Indeed, if Lin Xian used Flower Protector, there would be no suspense in this battle. However, he didn't use it and used another weapon to fight against the third prince with his own strength. This caused these people to be filled with admiration. Of course, the people from the Nine Li dynasty gritted their teeth. Damn it, what is this kid trying to do? I don't believe that you can defeat our third prince without Flower Protector. Come on, I'll give you a chance to use your trump card. Otherwise, you won't have a chance. Lin Xian pointed his sword forward. You're courting death. The third prince was furious. He used to say that to others, but someone dared to say it to him. It was unforgivable. He held the 5 dragons' divine saber and swung it quickly. The saber radiance shone and tore the void apart. Lin Xian also swung his sword. He opened the 6 seals on the ancient dragon source sword, and it shone brightly. Streaks of lightning sword radiance fell from the sky and swept across all directions. What a terrifying power of lightning. This kid's sword should be a treasure too. Yeah, it doesn't look any weaker than the 5 dragons' divine saber. It's hard to say who's stronger and who's weaker. The 5 dragons' divine saber slash was one of the great skills of the Nine Li dynasty. Moreover, the 5 dragons had the ability to devour everything. Don't underestimate the saber radiance. Anyone who came into contact with it would be devoured, and their energy would be sucked dry. What? It's so terrifying? Of course. Do you think the third prince of the Nine Li dynasty is a pushover? You're too naive. As expected, the lightning sword radiance was devoured by the 5 dragons. The third prince laughed. Kid, did you see that? My 5 dragons devour the heavens. He's definitely not someone you can contend against. All of your moves can be swallowed by me. Did you see that? He's really powerful. In the distance, those people were terrified. Lin Xian also narrowed his eyes. Swallowing? What a strange ability. He was shocked. He didn't expect that the other party would have such an ultimate technique. But so what? The corners of his mouth curled up into a cold smile. My sword chi isn't something you can swallow so easily. Sure enough, not long after, the 5 dragon shadows flipped and roared, releasing crazy roars. Then their bodies began to swell. Bang! A dragon image was pierced through, and a thunderous sword light shot out from within. After DE, there was a second and a third. Thousands of densely packed lightning sword lights pierced through the dragon shadow's body. He couldn't swallow it. These people were stupefied. It couldn't be, right? What kind of lightning was this? How could it be so terrifying? It was not lightning, but sword light. It was because of the sword light. This brat sword light was seriously too terrifying. Those experts cried out in alarm. The great Xia dynasty's prince and other top geniuses stared at the lightning sword light with lightning eyes. What a terrifying sword aura. It's over. We were all careless and guessed wrong. The 9-yang divine body isn't this brat's strongest trump card. His sword chi is the terrifying one. Yes, as expected of the Central Emperor. His attack power is unparalleled, and his spirit is strong. How can we fight him? Those people's faces were filled with despair. The third prince's face was also gloomy. In the blink of an eye, his 5 dragons devour the sky was directly destroyed. Even he suffered a backlash. The blood in his body was in turmoil, and he couldn't help but vomit blood. Damn it, I won't lose. He still had a trump card, and that was the power of his bloodline. Buzz. Lin Xian waved his long sword. Third prince? That's all there is to it. Is this all you've got? If that's all, you're not qualified to take the title of Central Emperor. Lin Xian's body was surrounded by sword light. He stood in the void like an unstoppable sword god. The third prince's face darkened. Brat, don't be arrogant. I still have the strongest power of my bloodline. Just you wait, you'll see. Under the power of my 9 Li dynasty's bloodline, you won't be able to turn the tables. He formed a seal with his hands, and terrifying bloodline runes appeared on his body. A hazy scene appeared behind him, and it was as vast as the universe. Rustle. That scene seemed to have become a picture scroll that kept rolling. The mountains and rivers inside were beautiful and magnificent. Is this the Jiuli painting? Legend had it that the 9 Li dynasty's ultimate weapon was the Jiuli painting, which contained a real world. Who would have thought that the power of their bloodline could transform it? Yes, it really looks like a world. Everyone looked at the hazy scene in shock. The aura that was emitted from it was as if it was a fairyland. The third prince waved his hand and lifted up the hazy fairyland. He then charged forward. With a boom, the hazy fairyland directly enveloped Lin Xian and swallowed him completely. What? He's been enveloped. It's over. That brat is definitely dead. Yes, this is the power of the bloodline, the ultimate superpower of the descendants of the great emperors. That brat won't be able to withstand it. Brother Xian, Brother Lin Xian, Murong Qingcheng and Shen Jingqiu exclaimed when they saw the scene. That was because the hazy fairyland gave them a strong sense of danger. They naturally knew how terrifying the power of their opponent's bloodline was. It seemed like Lin Xian was really in danger. Is the victor going to be decided? The eyes of the great Xia dynasty's prince and the great evolution saint flashed. The people of the 9 heavens' sacred ground and the 5 elements' palace sneered. The people of the 9 Li dynasty laughed proudly. Ha ha! In front of our 9 Li dynasty's bloodline, you have no power to resist. The third prince snorted coldly. From today onwards, the title of Middle Emperor is mine. Endless light shone from his body, and 9 dragons circled around him, making him look like the Dragon Emperor. What fairyland! You think too highly of yourself. It's just a king's domain combined with the power of the bloodline. Do you really think you can trap me? At this moment, a cold voice came from the hazy fairyland in front of him. It's that brat. That brat hasn't been completely suppressed. Indeed, in the hazy fairyland, a figure stood among the mountains and rivers. It was Lin Xian. At that moment, he was being suppressed by an endless amount of energy, but the 9-yang divine body emitted millions of rays of light, blocking the terrifying aura. Today, I'm going to destroy your so-called fairyland. In the hazy fairyland, Lin Xian roared. His black hair fluttered in the wind, and the 9-yang divine body erupted. The ancient sword in his hand swung wildly. A sword could destroy mountains and rivers, and a sword could shatter the starry sky. A sword could destroy the world. Chapter 2699. The hazy fairyland trembled violently. With a crack, it split open from the middle. A sharp sword light shot out from the fairyland and struck the third prince. With a bang, the 9 hazy dragon shadows were shattered. The third prince was sent flying while vomiting blood. His body had been split into 2. The third prince was sent flying while vomiting blood. His blood dyed the sky red. The 2 halves of his body rolled in the sky, emitting a blood-red light as they quickly healed. The 9 dragon shadows wrapped around him once again. However, he was too miserable. His body was covered in blood, and his face was pale. He no longer had the arrogance from before. Ta, ta, ta. Lin Xian walked out of the destroyed fairyland. The 9 young divine body shone brightly, and the sword qi on his body was even sharper. Countless sword lights surrounded his feet, forming a divine sword that supported him. You're just SOL. Lin Xian's cold voice resounded in all directions. The surrounding people fell into a daze when they saw this scene. The terrifying illusory fairyland and the terrifying 9-Li bloodline couldn't resist the sword qi. They would probably still remember this sword strike clearly hundreds of years later. Many swordsmen would even be awakened by this sword light in their dreams. This was a sword light, but at the same time, it was also a natural chasm that they could only look up to forever. The crack in the sky slowly healed, but the shock in everyone's hearts would never heal. How could he be so powerful? What kind of sword light was this? The third prince trembled, and a deep sense of fear appeared in his heart. In the end, he laughed bitterly. You've won. You're very strong. I've lost. At this point, he seemed to have used up all his strength. The originally arrogant Yuan was so weak in front of Lin Xian. Was this the strength of the Central Emperor? The other 4 peerless heaven rankers who had obtained the title would probably be so heaven-defying. Thinking about it made people despair. It could be said that it was a great tragedy to be born in the same era as such a genius. He was very strong. The great Xia prince's eyes flickered. The stars in his eyes flickered. It seemed that he was deducing the battle just now. In the distance, the people from the Yin-Yang sect and the 5 Elements Palace were also ashen-faced. It seemed that it would be very difficult for them to achieve their wish of being defeated. Would he be able to achieve it in this lifetime? It was the same for the sky prides of the other sacred grounds. Who else? Lin Xian looked around with a hint of coldness. The people around him all lowered their heads, not daring to meet his gaze. Bang! Suddenly, an earth-shattering sound rang out. In the sky, a golden vortex rapidly condensed. The vortex grew bigger and bigger, spreading into the sky and not dissipating for a long time. However, no one appeared at all. Who was this person? Whose attack was it? These people raised their heads to look at the golden vortex in the sky. They were extremely shocked. This method was too terrifying. Humph, Lin Xian, I've finally found you. I will definitely cut you down with my blade. A cold and emotionless voice came from the whirlpool. Hearing this voice, the people around felt their scalps go numb and their faces were filled with fear. Who is this? Even a terrifying descendant of the royal family, like the third prince, was unable to defeat Lin Xian. Now, there was actually someone who dared to challenge him. The people from the Yin-Yang sect and the 5 Elements Palace exclaimed, War Tribe, it's someone from the War Tribe. Heaven, the number 1 sky pride of the War Tribe is coming. What? The number 1 sky pride of the War Tribe. Everyone sucked in a breath of cold air. The War Tribe had swept across the continent in recent years and was famous throughout the world. One could imagine how terrifying the number one sky pride of the war tribe was. It was definitely on the same level as Yi Wuyao and the Saint of Guang country. Is he finally going to make a move? The Prince of Xia, the Saint of Diyan, and the other princes and saints of Zhou all raised their heads and looked at the golden vortex. Lin Xian also raised his head, his eyes emitting a cold light. Finally, he had been waiting for a long time to fight with the other party. However, the other party did not appear last time at the Jade Lake. He did not expect that he would finally appear now. Behind him, Shen Jingqiu and Morong Qingcheng were also shocked. The two of them left the palace and came to Lin Xian's side, looking into the distance together. However, after waiting for a long time, no one appeared. This made everyone puzzled. What's going on? Why is the number one sky pride not here yet? I will be here in 3 days. I will kill you. A cold voice came from the golden vortex in the sky. What? In 3 days? Could it be that the number one sky pride was far away and had not arrived yet? Heavens! Sending a voice transmission across space was truly heaven-defying. Everyone was shocked. They all waited in place. To them, 3 days was just the blink of an eye. However, if they missed such a shocking battle, it would be difficult to see it again in their lifetime. All right, I'll wait for you for 3 days. Lin Xian pulled Morong Qingcheng and Shen Jingqiu back to the palace. He sat down cross-legged and consumed some treasures to recover his strength. He had used up a lot of energy in the battle with the third prince. After all, his opponent was also a top sky pride. These 3 days were just enough time for him to recover. Lin Xian waited for the number one sky pride of the war tribe. In the eastern wilderness, Yi Wudao had also gone through a dozen battles. However, in the end, Yi Wudao won all of them, while the sky prides who fought with him were all defeated. In an instant, the entire eastern wilderness was in an uproar. Yi Wudao was too powerful. No one would be able to defeat him. That's right. Apart from the other titled sky prides, very few people would be his match. No, there was definitely one person in the eastern wilderness who could contend with him. However, that person had yet to make a move. Who was it? The four-symbol saint? The saint of all beginnings? No, you forgot. It was the wavering light saint. He was a top sky pride. If he made a move, he would definitely be incomparably powerful. It was uncertain whether Yi Wudao could win. That's right. How could we forget about the wavering light saint? He was extremely terrifying. He probably wasn't willing to accept that he hadn't been given a title this time. That's right. Why didn't the wavering light saint make a move? All of a sudden, all the cultivators in the eastern wilderness were talking about it. However, the wavering light saint never appeared. In the wavering light sacred land, the Milky Way waterfall hung upside down. Beside the waterfall sat a figure. It was the wavering light saint. The 108 god-fiend halos around his body were becoming more and more terrifying. At this moment, he sat there with his eyes closed and his legs crossed, silently cultivating. 7 or 8 figures flew over from the distance. They were all young men and women, and their auras were powerful. As soon as they appeared, they quickly landed. Senior brother. Finally, a woman called out softly. The rest of the people also spoke up. Senior brother, why aren't you making a move? That's right. Everyone in the eastern wilderness is waiting for you to make a move. If you make a move, you can definitely defeat Yi Wudao. Yes, senior brother, make a move. Those people quickly spoke up. Chapter 2700. The Alcade Saint slowly opened his eyes. Countless stars flickered in his eyes as he said in a deep voice, "Go back. I won't make a move. I'm not interested in this title at all. Senior brother." Those people wanted to say something, but the Alcade Saint waved his hand, and countless rays of light teleported them away. Humph, this is that guy's method. There's nothing new about it. But that's fine too. I'll let that guy fight against Yi Wudao and the others. Let's see who'll survive in the end. After saying that, he slowly closed his eyes. 3 days passed in the blink of an eye. Above the middle ground, the golden vortex became more and more terrifying. A terrifying aura spread out from the vortex. Everyone trembled, and their blood froze. These people quickly retreated tens of thousands of miles away. Many of them put on their battle armor to resist the terrifying aura. It's been 3 days. The number one genius of the war tribe should be here. That's for sure. The other party had already said so. With his status, if he didn't come, how would he survive in the future? These people discussed. Suddenly, the golden vortex in front of them exploded. A terrifying aura swept out in all directions. He's here. Everyone trembled and raised their heads. As expected, a figure slowly appeared in the golden vortex. It was a very handsome man. He was tall and sturdy, and his black hair fluttered in the wind. His body was flowing with a bright light, as if he was a peerless war god. The moment he appeared, he crushed the void. Terrifying cracks appeared under his feet. Those people in the distance kept retreating, their faces filled with fear. They felt like countless mountains were pressing down on them, making it hard for them to breathe. Lin Xian, get over here and die. The handsome man's gaze was like a divine sword that swept across all directions. His voice was like thunder, causing many people to vomit blood. The number one genius of the war tribe had arrived. Everyone exclaimed. Too terrifying. Was this the number one genius of the war tribe? Without making a move, just the aura on his body was enough to crush the heavens, making it hard for them to breathe. The prince of the Grand Xia dynasty and the saint son of the Great Yin dynasty looked serious, as if they were facing a great enemy. The people of the Yin-Yang sect, 5 Elements Palace, and 9 Firmaments Sacred Ground were overjoyed. He's here. He's finally here. The number one genius that they've been waiting for has finally appeared. That's great. They were extremely excited. In the next moment, the people of the Yin-Yang sect hurriedly shouted, "Greetings, number one prodigy! Greetings, number one prodigy!" The people of 5 Elements Palace and 9 Heavens Holy Ground shouted excitedly. In the distance, the geniuses, experts, and seniors who had been sitting cross-legged all stood up with serious expressions. There was nothing he could do about it. His reputation as the number one genius of the war race was just too great. In recent years, he had been like the sun in the midday sky. He wasn't the slightest bit inferior to Leaf Daudenier, Holy Sun Alcade, and the others. Now that the other party had appeared and was emanating such a frightening aura, none of the older generation experts dared to get careless. However, there were still 3 silhouettes sitting there in a lotus position. They didn't care at all, as if they didn't think anything of the heavens' favorite. Who is it that dares to be so rude to me? The number one genius. Do you want to die? Inside the golden vortex, besides the number one heavens chosen, there were also many other martial artists and geniuses from the battle tribe. They were angry to see someone still sitting there. When the number one prodigy went out, who wouldn't be extremely cautious, as if facing a great enemy, there was actually someone who dared to treat him with such disdain. This person deserved to die 1,000 times over. Who does he think he is? Is he worthy of me standing up to greet him? In the distance, the youth sitting cross-legged sneered in disdain. When the others heard this, their scalps went numb, and their faces filled with fear. However, when they saw the person who had spoken, they were so shocked that they couldn't speak, because the person who had spoken was also a peerless genius who was like the sun in the midday sky. Moreover, he had recently been conferred the title of Middle Emperor. Such a person definitely had the qualifications to say such words. Lin Xian didn't stand up. Beside him, Murong Qingcheng and Shen Jingqiu didn't stand up either. They were both holy daughters of large sects, so they naturally wouldn't greet the number one genius. However, the terrifying aura coming from the other party's body caused them to feel apprehensive. He was definitely an incomparably terrifying person. He probably wasn't any weaker than Leaf Daudenier. You're Lin Xian? You're really arrogant. The number one genius turned his head and stared at Lin Xian. A terrifying light bloomed in his eyes. The void around Lin Xian rapidly shattered, unable to withstand the power of his gaze. Shen Jingqiu and Morong Qingchen were shocked. The other party was even stronger than they had imagined. Humph! Lin Xian coldly snorted. His eyes also emitted a golden light, and he slashed out like the sword of a god. That's right, the number one genius was Lin Xian, number one heaven's favorite. Please make a move and suppress him. That's right. Who did that kid think he was? How could he be worthy of the title of Middle Emperor? Of course, that title was for the number one genius. The Yin-Yang sect, 5 Elements Palace, and 9 Firmaments Divine Emperors, people hurriedly flattered. Right now, the number one genius was their greatest support. After all, their holy sons had just been killed, and the new holy sons that had been nurtured recently couldn't compete with the top holy sons. Therefore, they could only rely on the number one genius. Hearing this, the people of the war tribe laughed. Don't worry, fellow Taoists. How strong is the number one genius of the war tribe? He's definitely an invincible existence. That's right. Our number one genius has never been defeated since his debut. Even Leaf Daudenier might not be able to defeat our number one genius, let alone that kid. He's not a match for our number one genius at all. In less than 10 moves, the number one genius will definitely kill him and obtain the title of Middle Emperor. The people of the war tribe were extremely arrogant. All sorts of words echoed in the sky. When the others heard this, their scalps went numb. They didn't say anything because in a battle of this level, it was better for them not to take sides randomly. Whether it was the number one genius or Lin Xian, they were both people that they couldn't afford to offend. In fact, they could even kill them with a single glance. In this world, there are only 2 or 3 people in the younger generation who can fight with me. However, you're not one of them. The number one genius looked at Lin Xian with a trace of contempt in his eyes. You're very strong and have killed many powerful holy sons, but against me, you have no chance of winning. Kneel on the ground obediently and hand over the title of Middle Emperor, and I can spare your dog life. It's not easy for you to cultivate to this point and have such strength. So think carefully and don't do anything stupid. The number one genius's voice was sonorous and filled with killing intent. What an arrogant tone. Do you really think you're invincible? You can try. See if you can defeat me. Lin Xian stood up, and a terrifying aura rose from his body. Mysterious runes flickered on his body, as vast as the starry sky. Everyone felt a wave of heat sweep out from Lin Xian's body. That aura and light seemed to want to melt them. 9 Yang divine body, the purest Yang. It was indeed terrifying. The surrounding people retreated once again. 9 Yang divine body. The number one genius's eyes erupted with a biting cold light, as if 2 balls of divine fire were burning. Chapter 2701. As expected of the legendary divine body, but giving it to you is too much of a pity. Kid, I'll give you a chance to live. Tell me the cultivation method of the 9 Yang divine body. I can spare your life. The number one genius's eyes burned with passion. Even he couldn't remain calm in front of the 9 Yang divine body. After all, this was the famous divine body of the ancient era. After reaching major completion, one could truly sweep through the 8 desolations. Kid, hurry up and hand over the cultivation method of the 9 Yang divine body. Who do you think you are to cultivate a divine body? Only the number one genius of the battle race has the qualifications to cultivate such a peerless physique. The battle race's martial artists roared. In the sky, countless runes flickered as one figure after another tore through the void and crossed over. For symbols, Saint Sun, all beginnings Saint Sun, unfettered Saint Sun, no flower, Gu Santong, myriad poison cult, beast emperor palace, and Tao one holy land. The young geniuses and experts of the other four continents all opened Tao gates and directly teleported over. There was nothing they could do about it. The impact of this battle was too great. The battle between the number one genius of the battle race and Lin Xian instantly spread across the entire true spirit continent. These people didn't hesitate to open Tao gates to come over and take a look. Fortunately, they didn't fight, right? It wasn't too late. They were finally able to witness this world-shaking battle. The newly arrived geniuses' eyes flickered as they stared at the battlefield. Do you see? These geniuses are all here for the number one genius of the battle race. What immortal palace, what central emperor. They're nothing before the number one genius of the battle race. The battle race's martial artists clamored one after another. Noisy, Lin Xian coldly snorted. Dozens of huge palms appeared in the sky, instantly slapping away those clamoring martial artists. Pung, pung, pung. Those battle race's geniuses were sent flying while vomiting blood. All the bones in their bodies were shattered, and many of them directly exploded, turning into a bloody mist. What a terrifying method. The distant people were alarmed. Their scalps went numb as they rapidly retreated. The battle race's people screamed, as if they had gone mad. Ah, you dare to injure our people? You're dead. The prince of the great Xia dynasty, the saint son of the Taiyan dynasty, and the newcomer Wu Hua were also shocked. The other princes and saintesses were also shocked. The expression of the number one genius of the war race sank. His eyes were filled with killing intent. The other party actually dared to injure someone of his war race right in front of him. This was truly an unforgivable crime. Today, even if you kneel down and beg me, I will not forgive you. At this point, he stretched out a palm. This palm turned into a starry sky with incomparably flickering runes, enveloping Lin Xian. Tens of thousands of auras descended and pierced through the void. A terrifying force swept across the surroundings. Humph! Lin Xian snorted coldly. He didn't move. He clenched his fist and punched out. His fist was like a sun that soared into the clouds, and its resplendent light illuminated the surroundings. Boom! An earth-shattering collision sound rang out, and the entire sky quickly trembled. Countless large cracks appeared, and wild gales swept out, blowing many people away. After the first strike, the two of them were evenly matched and did not fight again. However, the auras of the two of them were becoming stronger and stronger. The number one genius of the war race had a cold expression. His gaze turned into two divine rainbows, wanting to see through Lin Xian. The others cried out in alarm. It was too terrifying. The two of them were really too terrifying. The saints and saintesses were also shocked. They could no longer withstand such an attack. However, this was just a casual strike from the two of them. If the two of them attacked with their full strength, how terrifying would it be? They didn't dare to imagine. Interesting. To be able to block my punch. It seems like you're more powerful than I imagined. Lin Xian said, I wonder if you can block my next attack? At this point, Lin Xian took the lead. His fist turned into 1,000 suns that burst forth in the sky. Heaven-battling divine fist. The moment Lin Xian attacked, he used the war race's great ability, heaven-battling divine fist. A berserk aura surged, exploding in all directions. Brat, you're courting death. The number one genius's voice was cold as killing intent surged from his body. He had long heard that the other party knew their war race's divine fist. He didn't expect that the other party would really use it now. Reckless thing! How dare you steal my war race's ability? Today, I'll let you know what the true heaven-battling divine fist is. He roared angrily, and also used the heaven-battling divine fist to attack. The two of them collided, causing the heavens to collapse and the earth to crack. The people around them continuously retreated and used their king's domains to defend themselves. Some people even fled and used secret techniques to watch from afar. There was nothing they could do. The two of them were too powerful. Every strike could destroy heaven and earth. Bang! Lin Xian let out a long roar. His black hair fluttered, and his 9-yang divine body emitted billions of rays of light. The dragon sword soul in his body also roared. He punched out with both fists like a dragon transforming into the sky. He forced the number 1 genius back with one punch. What? The number 1 genius was forced back? That was impossible. The number 1 genius had practiced the same fist technique for so many years, but he couldn't defeat the other party. Could it be that Lin Xian was already so terrifying? Everyone exclaimed. The war race's geniuses screamed, crazily. Impossible! How could the number 1 genius be forced back? Careless. He must have been careless. That's right. That kid sneaked an attack. They gritted their teeth. What number 1 genius? That's all there is to it. You can't even defeat me with the same fist technique. And you still have the face to stand here? Lin Xian looked at his opponent and sneered. The number 1 genius was so angry that he trembled. Killing intent hung from his body, shattering hundreds of mountains below. He really couldn't understand how the other party could use the heaven-battling divine fist to such a terrifying extent without the power of a bloodline. In fact, it was even more powerful than his. Damn it, this kid must have some secrets. Perhaps this was the power of the 9-yang divine body. Thinking of this, his eyes were burning with passion. He had to get his hands on such a terrifying divine body. You only forced me back. What's there to be proud of? Do you think you can defeat me like this? That's right. I can kill you. Lin Xian snorted coldly. Stepping on the chaotic yin-yang reversal, he instantly rushed forward. His speed was fast to the extreme, and the 9-yang divine body blossomed with resplendent light, illuminating the entire sky with incomparable brightness. A strange sound could be heard coming from his body. It was like a dragon's roar, causing everyone to tremble. Kid, go to hell. The number 1 genius snorted and waved his fists, shaking heaven and earth, shattering a part of the sky. The light that filled the sky was torn apart. Countless afterimages were destroyed. However, none of them were Lin Xian's real body. Lin Xian had already arrived behind the number 1 genius. At this moment, he was holding the Dragon Source ancient sword and slashing down from the sky. With a slash of the sword, heaven and earth collapsed. Not good. That kid is using all his strength. That's right, the 9-yang divine body coupled with his terrifying sword technique. Probably not many people could withstand it. Would the number 1 genius be able to withstand it? These people discussed animatedly. Indeed, the 9-yang divine body had already shocked them. Lin Xian's sword chi was even more terrifying. Among the same level, there were very few people who could rely on it. Everyone turned their gazes to the front. Chapter 2702. The number 1 prodigy also felt threatened. With a roar, his muscles tightened as he turned around and struck out with his palm. The sun, moon, and stars revolved around his palm, forming a starry universe that smashed forward. What kind of cultivation technique was this? Why did it seem like a real world? In the distance, those people exclaimed. The mystiques of the war tribe were too terrifying. Each one of them made one feel despair. Boom! The stars in the sky wrapped around the terrifying sword light, and continuously extinguished it, causing the sword light to dim. Countless stars shattered, but in the end, the sword chi was suppressed. He blocked it. He had actually blocked the other party's sword chi. The starry sky was too terrifying. It was like a real universe. Everyone was shocked. The princes and saints were also shocked. The great Xia Prince Wu Hua, Gu Santong, and the others were staring at the number one prodigy of the war tribe with bright eyes. The stars in their eyes faded, as if they were deducing the entire battlefield. Lin Xian was also shocked. As expected of the number one prodigy, he was indeed powerful. One had to know that he had become stronger after being in seclusion for a few years. However, the other party had been able to block his sword so easily. It was indeed surprising. The other party was definitely standing at the peak of the younger generation. But so what? Today, he would definitely crush the other party. Kid, it's useless. You won't be able to do anything in my universe of annihilation. As the number one prodigy spoke, the starry universe pressed down, wanting to swallow Lin Xian. Scram! In the face of such a terrifying universe of annihilation, Lin Xian shouted coldly and roared at the sky. His fist was like a dragon as it blasted out. The nine suns' divine fist erupted with billions of rays of light, and countless sword chi swept out in all directions. Lin Xian carried supreme power as his fist smashed into the universe of annihilation. There was a loud boom that shook the heavens. The stars in the universe were directly split apart by this punch, turning into rubble that scattered in all directions. The entire universe trembled as countless sword chi stirred, turning into a huge dragon that rushed into the sky. In the end, the starry universe was pierced into holes. One after another, black holes flickered, making one's scalp go numb. Impossible! He actually destroyed the annihilation universe. The battle race's martial artists were all stunned. Zhang Chongfeng and the others were even more dumbfounded. They didn't dare to believe it. The number one elite was extremely powerful, especially in the annihilation great cosmos. Even if Luo Yunyang used all his 36 celestial constellations, he wouldn't be able to withstand it. However, the other party actually shattered it with a single punch. Could it be that the other party had become so powerful? Or could it be that the other party didn't use his full strength the last time they fought? Zhang Chongfeng didn't dare to imagine. I've said it before, you can't. Lin Xian let out a long howl like a demon god. The number one genius's expression turned cold. Brat, you're courting death. It was as if he had transformed into a god of slaughter whose aura swept across the nine heavens. Move of thunder. The number one genius turned into a bolt of lightning and disappeared into the sky. His speed had reached an unimaginable level, and he appeared in front of Lin Xian in an instant. Lin Xian brandished his sword and slashed out. However, he soon discovered that his sword strike had missed. The other party appeared behind him again. Boom! He struck out with his palm. This palm struck Lin Xian's body and sent Lin Xian flying. However, the nine-yang divine body was extremely powerful. Lin Xian wasn't injured, but his qi and blood were surging. However, this still shocked him. The other party's speed was really too fast. Brat, you can die now. As he spoke, the number one genius's body disappeared again. So fast. In the distance, all the cultivators exclaimed. The eyelids of those saints, princes, peerless geniuses, and older generation figures were also twitching wildly. This speed was too fast. So fast that even they couldn't keep up. What's going on? How can this number one genius's speed be so fast? Why do I feel that his speed has reached the level of an invincible king? I've seen invincible kings before, but they don't seem to have such terrifying speed. What kind of divine ability does the other party have? These people discussed animatedly. However, the people of the war tribe laughed. Did you see that? This is the true strength of the number one genius. Brat, you're dead meat. Sure enough, in a short instant, Lin Xian suffered dozens of attacks. Each time, he was forced back. The qi and blood in his body were surging, and his face became pale. With a roar, the dragon sword's spiritual domain on his body opened up and enveloped him. Countless sword qi surged, surrounding him in all directions. In the next moment, something shocking happened. In the sky, in an instant, there were tens of thousands of collision sounds. Each attack was extremely powerful, and the sword qi was sent flying. The number one genius, it was the number one genius who attacked. His speed was too fast. It's over. Lin Xian was actually suppressed. He originally thought that he could suppress the number one genius, or at least fight to a draw. Now, it seemed that he was no match for the number one genius. Yes, the number one genius's speed was too fast. Humph, that brat is obviously no match for our number one genius. I'm afraid he can't even find where our number one genius is. The experts of the war tribe sneered. Zhang Chongfeng's mouth also curled into a sinister smile. Brother Xian, Morong Qingcheng and Xin Jingqiu were nervous. Wu Hua and Gu Santong were also frowning. On the other side, the great Xia prince's eyes were red. This scene was also out of his expectations. No one thought that the number one genius's speed would be so fast, turning into a peerless lightning. What fast speed! Lin Xian opened the dragon sword's spiritual domain and temporarily blocked the other party's attack. His face was extremely gloomy, and a golden light flashed in his eyes. He opened the heavenly secret divine eye and quickly caught sight of it. He found that the other party's speed was indeed fast, and he kept moving around him. Not good. Suddenly, his pupils shrank, and his body suddenly disappeared. Just as he left, a large crack appeared where he was originally standing. A long black saber directly shattered the void. Pung! The dragon sword's spiritual domain suffered a fierce attack. Countless sword qi became dim. Lin Xian kept retreating, and his aura was tumbling. Brat, your reaction is fast. However, can you keep up with my speed? The number one genius disappeared. When he reappeared, he threw out thousands of attacks, and all of them hit Lin Xian's dragon sword spiritual domain. The dragon sword spiritual domain was constantly being hit. Humph, do you really think I can't keep up with your speed? Yin-yang disorder. 8 steps defying the heavens. Lin Xian was also angry. The yin-yang qi under his feet quickly rotated, and the shadow of a dragon appeared. At this moment, he had combined the chaotic yin-yang disorder steps and heavenly dragon's 8 steps, creating a new step, yin-yang 8 steps. Within 8 steps, the world is limitless. Lin Xian's eyes became disillusioned, and his body instantly turned into a stream of light, disappearing on the spot. He dodged it. He actually dodged it. The surrounding people exclaimed. Heavens, his speed has also become faster. I can't find any trace of Lin Xian, no matter how hard I try. Exclamations could be heard. Chapter 2703. Everyone was shocked. They didn't expect Lin Xian's speed to increase so much. Impossible! How could that brat be so fast? The members of the war race also had crazed looks on their faces. Thunder's eclipse was extremely terrifying. In order to master Thunder's eclipse, the requirements for one's body were terrifying. One had to have a strong physique in order to be able to withstand the consequences of such a powerful force. Furthermore, lightning displacement was a cultivation technique that consumed the power of one's bloodline. Once it was displayed, even invincible kings might not necessarily be able to keep up. It could be said that the moment the number one genius unleashed this move, everyone from the war tribe knew that Lin Xian was dead for sure. However, To everyone's surprise, although Lin Xian was being suppressed, it didn't take long for him to increase his speed again, becoming as fast as the lightning cave. Damn it, how did the other party also have this kind of secret technique? I have to thank you for helping me achieve my 2 footwork. Lin Xian laughed heartily. He was using both footsteps and cultivating them. However, he had always wanted to fuse them together, but he was unable to do so perfectly. Just now, he had received a great shock. To him, this was a hopeless situation that he had never experienced before. However, in this desperate situation, he was unprecedentedly rational. In addition, he was observing the other party's movements. In an instant, he had an epiphany. He combined the 2 of his footwork to form the yin-yang 8 footwork. This footwork combined the elusiveness of the yin-yang reversal and the extreme speed of the demigods and semi-devils. Within 8 steps, his speed had reached an unparalleled level. As expected, Lin Xian's current speed was not at all inferior to the number 1 prodigy's. In fact, he had an even greater advantage than he had on the first day. With his heavenly secret god eyes, he could clearly capture the trajectory of the number 1 genius. However, he didn't think the number 1 heaven's favorite could track him down. Sure enough, gradually the number 1 prodigy started to make mistakes. This wasn't intentional. It was because he really couldn't catch it. With a bang, the number 1 heaven's favorite spat out blood and was sent flying. He had been struck by a sword. The resplendent light on his body was completely split apart. His armor was also torn to shreds. However, the number 1 genius did not shed any blood. His flesh was ancient too, with mysterious runes on it, forming a heavenly diagram. Peerless battle physique. Oh my God, he has an unparalleled battle constitution. Many of the older generation experts cried out in alarm. The others were even more shocked. Peerless battle physique? What was that? A young martial artist asked. The older generation experts' faces were full of shock. That was an extremely terrifying physique. Within the war race, it was the most powerful physique. In ancient times, the unparalleled battle physique was one of the most powerful physiques. Everyone was shocked and envious at the same time. This number 1 genius also had a heaven-defying physique. From the looks of it, his physique was not inferior to Lin Xian's divine 9-yang body. Not only that, Lin Xian had probably only obtained the 9-yang divine body a few years ago. However, the number 1 prodigy was different. His physique was a bloodline physique. Just like the holy body, they were born with it. With the war race's terrifying resources and meticulous training, the other party's peerless battle physique was absolutely terrifying. Yes, in terms of the terrifying degree of the 2 physiques, perhaps the divine 9-yang body was more powerful. However, in the current situation, Lin Xian had really fallen into a disadvantageous position. The older generation experts quickly discussed. Hearing this, the surrounding saints and princes were also full of shock. The war race's prodigy looked up to the sky and laughed. Ha ha ha, kid, you know now, my title as the number 1 prodigy is not just for show. That is, our war race's peerless battle physique is absolutely not inferior to the holy body, much less your divine body. Let me tell you a great secret. Aside from having a powerful physique, the peerless battle physique has an even more terrifying characteristic. That is, extremely powerful combat strength. The war race was born for battle. Peerless battle heavens, destroying everything. In terms of combat strength, there is nothing more powerful than our peerless battle physique. Little brat, go to hell. Obediently, the war race's people roared crazily. After the other older generation experts heard this, their expressions changed. Yes, how could they have forgotten about this? Just thinking about his defensive strength made the older generation experts cry out in alarm. The peerless battle physique was famous in ancient times. It was known as the peerless battle physique. Once this physique was revealed, it would definitely be an existence that could sweep through the world. Peerless battle physique. How powerful did one have to be able to earn such a title? One could imagine that the peerless battle physique was absolutely heaven-defying. Although that kid's swordsmanship was also sharp, he would probably be defeated by the peerless battle physique. Yes, they did not expect the number one prodigy of the war race to have such an astonishing physique. From the looks of it, in terms of combat strength, it surpassed the 9-yang divine body. That might not be the case. The strength that kid displayed now was also very terrifying. Moreover, Lin Xian seemed to have never been defeated since his debut. Perhaps he could also create a miracle this time. The 9-yang divine body was not to be trifled with. Many people still supported Lin Xian because they had already regarded Lin Xian as their idol. Lin Xian could be said to be a new force to be reckoned with in recent years. From being unknown, he directly swept through the continent. The shock caused by this was not something that could be erased with just a few words. Lin Xian's swordsmanship is definitely the strongest I have ever seen. The legend of the 9-yang divine body is not fake. Those people clench their fists. Humph! Just wait. That kid will definitely be killed. Even if he has the 9-yang divine body, it is still not enough. The people of the war race sneered. The number one prodigy of the war race had a sinister expression. Kid, I admit that the 9-yang divine body is very strong, but that is the great success 9-yang divine body. You have only cultivated for a few years. You are not my opponent at all. If you want to blame someone, blame yourself for being too weak. The number one prodigy laughed. Countless mysterious runes flickered on his body, turning into a shocking light that pierced through the 9 heavens and 10 earths. Lin Xian's expression was strange. Peerless battle physique? Peerless battle physique? Why did this name sound so familiar? His great dragon sword soul was known as the number one existence in the world. It was even more terrifying than the peerless battle physique. However, apart from him and the Crimson Dragon, almost no one knew that he had the great dragon sword soul. Otherwise, those people would not be surprised when they heard about the peerless battle physique. Instead, they would sympathize with him. This number one prodigy was really a tragic person. Although he had the peerless battle physique, he still encountered me? Lin Xian sneered and narrowed his eyes. Very well, let me see how strong your peerless battle physique is. To be honest, he was also looking forward to it. The peerless battle physique was quite famous and had been passed down since ancient times. He wondered how it would compare to the great dragon sword soul that he had now. Come, let me see if your peerless battle physique is as powerful as the rumors say it is. Lin Xian swept his sword forward. Reckless kid, I will use your head as a sacrifice today. Chapter 2704. The number one prodigy displayed his unparalleled battle physique, and the dazzling light swept across the 9 heavens and 10 lands. At this moment, he was like a god of war descending from the heavens, suppressing the surroundings and making everyone's expression change. The saints and geniuses trembled. It's too terrifying. Is this the power of the unparalleled battle physique? Why do I feel that it's even more terrifying than the sacred physique? The unparalleled battle physique was really born for battle. The older generation figures also quickly retreated. The expressions of the great Xia Prince, Huagu Santong, and the others also changed. It was too terrifying. The number one prodigy's greatest trump card was the unparalleled battle physique. It was really beyond their expectations. I wonder if Brother Lin will be able to withstand it. It was really hard to say. After all, Brother Lin had obtained the 9-yang divine physique for too short a time. If he had a few more decades, it would be different. Brother Xian, Murong Qingcheng, and Shen Jingqiu also cried out. Lin Xian waved his hand and said, "Don't worry, you guys retreat first, and protect yourselves. I can handle it. Oh, okay. Brother Xian, be careful. Morong Qingqing nodded and pulled Xinjingqiu, and the two of them quickly retreated. Countless lotus flowers danced on their bodies, forming a powerful light that resisted the monstrous aura of the number 1 prodigy. You're the first person who can make me use my full strength. I'm honored to see you. Lin Xian's voice spread throughout the world. What? Full strength? Could it be that this kid has never used his full strength before? Impossible. Pretentious. He must be pretentious. Reckless kid. How dare you say such words in front of our number 1 prodigy? You're definitely dead. The people of the war tribe also sneered. The number 1 prodigy shouted coldly, and his body bloomed like a furnace of heaven and earth, emitting incomparable light. The terrifying power suppressed the world. However, soon the expressions of the surrounding people changed, not because of the unparalleled battle physique. It was because of Lin Xian. Lin Xian's aura had become extremely terrifying. It was not weaker than the unparalleled battle physique. At this moment, even though Lin Xian's body was shining brightly, it also emitted a supreme killing intent. His entire body seemed to have turned into a sharp sword, extremely resplendent. His body swayed slightly as he tore through the sky and sliced the void in half. Had he transformed into a sword? What kind of tricks did this brat have? What was his trump card? What kind of swordsmanship was that? Could it be that he had the body of a divine sword? Everyone was stupefied. They had never seen someone who could use sword chi to such a terrifying degree. Putting aside the battle prowess, just this aura alone was something that not many invincible king-level swordsmen could display. How was this possible? How could he possess such a piercingly cold sword light? Those people from the war race trembled so much that they were unable to speak. The other sacred princes and heavenly talents were also startled. Even the top elite's eyelids were twitching. He felt that the energy was comparable to his unparalleled constitution. Kill the number 1 heaven's favorite ward in anger. He unleashed all his battle prowess and charged towards his opponent. There was nothing he could do. The other party's aura was too strong, and it seemed to be constantly rising. He would not allow the other party to surpass him. Therefore, he quickly charged over. With such terrifying battle prowess, there was no need for any divine ability at all. Just a simple wave of his fist was enough to destroy everything. This power surpassed that of a sacred prince. Was this the unparalleled battle physique? It was indeed terrifying. He might even be able to contend with an invincible king. Indeed, there were probably not many people in the younger generation who were his match. Those experts discussed animatedly as their bodies trembled. Those top elites were even more focused on the battle. Boom, boom, boom. Lin Xian had transformed his body into a sword. Coupled with the power of the Jiu Yang divine physique, it was truly terrifying to the extreme. At this moment, the great dragon sword soul was going all out. It did not hold back at all. Every move carried a peerless sharpness. When the sword struck out, the void shattered. The war race's great divine ability was completely destroyed by him. Not only that, the sword chi in the sky turned into long dragons. The roars of the dragons shook the 9 heavens. The moment the great dragon sword soul appeared, the sun and moon lost their light. Those people all prostrated themselves on the ground. Kill, kill. The two of them engaged in an earth-shattering battle. The void shattered, the sun and moon trembled, and the stars rotated. It was a scene of destruction. It was too terrifying. The battle prowess of the two of them continued to soar, far surpassing that of the younger generation. The expressions of the great Xia Prince Wu Hua, Gu Santong, and the others changed. Zhan Chongfeng, the 3rd prince, and the 9th prince were even more horrified. Was this Lin Xian's strength? It was too terrifying. Previously, they thought that they could compete with the other party and even kill him. But now, it seemed like that was not the case. If the other party had displayed such power from the start, they would not be his match at all. They would not even be able to block a single sword strike. The number one genius of the war race had an unparalleled battle physique and unparalleled battle prowess. But what did this kid have? The Jiuyang divine physique? It should not be. With his Jiuyang divine physique, he should not be able to display such terrifying power. There must be something wrong with his sword technique. Some living fossils were alarmed. They rushed over from afar to watch the battle personally. The battle between the two was too intense. Both of them were using extreme speed and terrifying power. In the blink of an eye, the two of them had exchanged more than 300 moves. The area within a radius of a few million miles was completely shattered. Not a single piece of space was intact. Lin Xian waved his ancient sword. Sword qi filled the sky and swept in all directions. On the other side, the number one genius had turned into a peerless war monarch. Not only that, he had also displayed a peerless ability, the 36 Dipper stars. Around him, 36 silhouettes appeared, forming a celestial diagram of destruction. It was too terrifying. 36 figures combined with a peerless battle physique. That aura was enough to make one despair. Lin Xian swung his ancient sword in all directions. In an instant, 36 dragon-shaped sword qi were formed and pierced towards the 36 blood-colored figures. The dragon source ancient sword turned into a peerless sword light and slashed towards the number one genius. A shocking collision sound rang out. Sparks flew in all directions and lightning struck. However, all 36 sword qi were blocked. The power of the peerless battle physique combined with the 36 Dipper stars was truly terrifying. It blocked the peerless dragon-shaped sword qi. Kill. With a roar, the number one genius's power rose again. It was as if his entire body was about to merge with the 36 mysterious immortal figures. His peerless treasure body flickered with extremely strange runes. That aura shattered the entire world. In the distance, the spectators kept trembling. Many people fainted from fright. Some people even exploded. The others felt their scalps go numb and quickly retreated. It was too terrifying. As expected of an ancient peerless battle physique, his combat strength was extremely strong. No one in the same generation could compete with him. Yes, perhaps even an invincible king would not be able to display such power. No wonder it was called a battle physique. It was simply born for battle. At this moment, the number one genius seemed to have turned into the only one in the world. His battle physique, together with the 36 mysterious figures, suppressed an area. You're tuning into the Mystic Fist YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.